Yep. Oh, William.
What's that?
William. This one. A good book. Seems like yesterday. There's no correspondence received.
Call the meeting to order for the Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen on Wednesday, February 4th, 2026, 6:30 p.m. Before we get started, somebody has asked that we introduce the board. To my left is Jim Pinio, town manager, John Thurston, Dave Senecal, I'm the chairman right now, Linda Murray, Paul O'Brien, and the other guy there in the end, Brian DeShays. Okay, starting the public hearing. We have non-public this evening after our regular meeting.
Yes, I would like to ask the board to put after D, Fossfield fees and recreation, a item called Zamboni. The Friends of Pop met this morning, and I have brought some information that I would like the board to have an opportunity. So I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No problem. Consideration of minutes, we don't have any. Public input. And I want to keep it to the time frame that we have of 3 minutes if somebody wants to talk. We had a late evening last night, so I'd like to keep things moving tonight. Anybody want to talk to us? State your name for the record, please.
Jody Person, are you gonna talk about the weeds, right? You're gonna take input then when you're talking about the weeds, or should I talk now?
We'll take input then.
Right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
When we get there.
All right.
Thank you, Jody.
Okay. Next, we have some public hearings. Wolfeboro Select Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, January 21st. That's not tonight. I think we had it, but we continued it. To consider temporary event permit for the New Hampshire Boat Museum to host Sasquatch Footy Regatta in Back Bay, Bridge Falls Path on August 15, 2026, rain date 8/16 from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Permit 2026-03.
Hi, Ann Lennon from the New Hampshire Boat Museum. We were here a couple of weeks ago, and there was a little discrepancy on the permit, and so I'm back. Amy said it's all set to go. We've held this for many years, usually in June. Last 3 years, we've been rained out in June, so they switched. They were hoping to switch to the rain date of August, which we usually put down, because that always seemed to be a better day.
Okay. I'll close the hearing. Board?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move, unless there's anybody. No? I'll move to approve temporary event permit for the New Hampshire Boat Museum to host the Sasquatch Footy Regatta in Back Bay, Bridge Falls Path on August 15th, 2026, rain date August 16th, It won't rain. From 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., permit 202603.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.
We're moving. Here we go.
Okay. Wolfboro Select Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, February 4th, 2026, 6:30 p.m. to consider a temporary event permit for the Wolfboro Historical Society to host the antique and vintage fairs at Clark Museum Complex, 230 South Main Street, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Permit number 202609.
I'm Pat Hodder. I'm a board member of the Historical Society. This was our 11th year of having these antique and vintage fairs. And when I say vintage, I mean attic treasures. So everyone dig around in your closets and bring us your stuff, and we will sell it for you, or you can sell it yourself at our event. And they're very well attended. We're right in the middle of town. And we have 4 different dates, which you will be seeing advertised. I don't have to go through it right now, I don't think. And they've been very successful in the past. Last summer, we didn't get rained out at all, and we're hoping for the same this year. Any questions?
Thank you. Anybody want to speak to this? Okay, we'll close the hearing. Board?
Chairman?
Yeah, I just want to read the dates because when we read, it didn't hear it, so it'll be June 27th,
Yeah,
July 11th,
right.
August 15th, and October 3rd, and they're going to be from 11 to 3.
Yeah, I'll read those in as I make a motion. Is that okay, Dave?
Yep.
Okay.
Fine.
So move to approve a temporary event permit for the Wolfboro Historical Society to host the antique and vintage fairs at the Clark Plaza Complex, 230 South Main Street on June 27th, 2026, July 11th, 2026, August 15th, 2026, and October 3rd, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Permit number 2026-09.
I'll second.
One more second.
Okay, any further discussion?
Did you have a?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is a revised alcohol permit. Wolfboro Select Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, February 4th, 2026, on or about 6:30 at the Wolfboro Town Hall, 84 South Main Street, Wolfboro, New Hampshire, to reconsider the application for an issuance of alcoholic beverages permit to the Lakes Region Curling Association for the end of season ceremony on March 29th, 2026, rescheduled as previously approved due to unforeseen events at the facility at the Abenaki Ski Lodge on 390 Pine Hill Road from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Yes.
Hi, I'm Andrea Dudley from Lakes Region Curling. You had approved this for December. We had to cancel our event, so we're asking the permission to roll over to our event on March 29th, it'll be a Sunday, the end of our curling season.
Okay, does anybody in the audience want to comment? Okay. Board, do we have any issues? Somebody want to make a motion, please?
I have a question. So are they still going to be skiing?
I would assume that it's been cleared with Parks and Rec as far as the dates.
We've worked with Christine and her team and have worked out an arrangement about timing if there is skiing going on.
Okay.
Christine's nodding, it's not going to be an issue.
Christine, yeah, saw that she's nodding down at the back of the room.
Oh, okay.
You making a motion, Paul?
Oh, sure. The move to approve an application for the issuance of a, reapprove, the issuance of an alcoholic beverages permit to the Lakes Region Curling Association for their end-of-season ceremony on December 14th. It says here 2025, it would be 26, right?
It'll be March 29th.
And
March 29th.
At the Abenaki Ski Lodge on 390 Pine Hill Road from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And if
Thank
I
you.
could just do a brief commercial. Several of
Sure.
you look like you might want to try curling. Wolfeboro Parks and Recreation is holding a Learn to Curl on Wednesday, February 25th from 1:30 to 3:30. Members of the Lakes Region Curling Association will be on the ice to give instruction. And since it's an Olympic year, you might find it hard to believe, but interest in curling surges. So if you want to come, I'd encourage you to sign up early. And you can get details and sign up at lakescurlingnh.org.
Is there pizza and soda?
So he's asking for food.
We hadn't planned that, but if you'll come, we might get some pizza and soda.
Dave, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
So customarily, what's your, what's the fill rate? How many people will show up for curling, to do it?
We have 2 leagues, a fall league and a winter league.
Yep.
In our winter league right now, which runs on Sundays from 4:30 to 6:30 or 7, we have 48 members, 5 teams of 4-member teams. So we have 2 bye weeks. We have 12 teams. We can play 10 teams at a time. So we're full, totally full,
You're
which is
totally
great.
full.
Totally full right now. But we do learn to curls because there's always attrition. People age out or move away or whatever. So we're always looking to bring on new people.
Yeah, so you're at 100% capacity. You want people to come learn how to do it, and if they say, sign me up, what do they get to do?
They can serve as alternates once they've been through a Learn to Curl. We did run a 4-week program in the fall. We had 16 people learn to curl. They came once a Sunday for 4 weeks, and we had 7 of those sign up. We had opportunities to bring them on board.
And
So-
is the reason that expanding the capacity so that more curling teams could be created, is it a rink capacity issue, or is it
We
a
would
human
need,
resource capacity issue?
we would need more time on the schedule.
You need more time out of Christine's precious calendar?
Right, and we would also need more people who would be able
There's
to
more
set
time
up
and
for
more
those
people.
sessions, because it takes about a half an hour to prep and probably 15 or 20 minutes to tear down. So, I mean, we could explore that. It would have to be probably
Understood.
another night or whatever.
I wasn't trying to, you were just giving
Get me
us
to
a
sign up.
commercial, and I'm just saying, hey, listen, maybe we could stimulate some demand there and get more people in the arena.
So I make a motion that Paul starts a morning curling league.
Only if we put you at the other end and I get to roll that big thing down. Thank you for your answers, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next on our agenda is a bulk vote. We have a weekly manifest. One of them is a school payment, 2025 ratio study. C is property tax exemptions and credits. A through C.
I'll make a motion that we accept the bulk vote A through C.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next is committee appointments. Marge Stronk, Agricultural Commission, the term to expire in 2028. I don't see Marge here, but she's been on the commission for a while. I'll make a motion that we appoint Marge Strunk to the Ag Commission with term expires 2028.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
New business. Extended use of Great Hall for Performance Stage Company.
Yeah, so this group came in front of you at our last meeting to ask for consideration to be able to use the facility here at the Great Hall for their performance stage company rehearsals and shows. You requested a copy with the Parks and Rec Director to ensure that there was no conflict. You have a memo here from Christine that outlines a couple of minor conflicts that we can navigate through. So that should answer the question for that. And I think the only other outstanding item is what you would like to do, because there was an ask to waive the fee, I do believe, for the usage of the hall.
Linda?
Yes, it seems like on the 20th that there is a conflict with the foot clinic.
Right.
And are we saying that the foot clinic will move to Abenaki?
We will relocate the foot clinic.
Okay, all right.
Yep. Jim, or Mr. Chairman? I was going to ask the same question, and no disrespect to the memo. Thank you, Christine, for laying it all out. But, I had the same question that Linda had. There was a big "we could," and my question to myself is somebody asking us to resolve it, and Jim, I think you answered the question. You will move the foot clinic.
Yeah, the foot clinic really involves about 15 square feet of somebody sitting with the patient. We can relocate that elsewhere without a whole lot of heartburn.
I was just, and not speaking for my colleague, I was unclear as to whether we were going to have to opine on that. And thank you for just saying you'll take care of it. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and so on the 11th, if we accept what's written, we have to change that to 2 p.m.,
Correct.
correct?
Which we will work with them to adjust that schedule appropriately.
Okay, somebody like to make a motion?
Dave,
Yes.
there was a question about, are we going to give them a financial break?
Correct.
This is 11 days at $50 a day, and the last time I checked, it's $550. Should we cut them any slack at all because they're a nonprofit working with children, giving them some culture?
Why don't you make a motion?
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
My question is, do we want to cut it all the way, or do we want to cut it in half? Does the board have any ideas?
I would cut it in half, which seems to be, if you look at the floor and to clean and stuff, there's wear and tear on the building, and I thought that's why we had a minimal fee.
Yep.
And so they're going to be paying us $25 a day.
Yep.
I think that would be where I would go.
Dave?
Is that a motion? No. Paul?
No, I would not. We set the fees. The fees are designed not to, we're not here to make a whole ton of money. What we're trying to make sure is we maintain the facility and not have to go into general fund for other things. I understand the nonprofit status. There's a lot of people come to us with nonprofit status. We should just keep the fees as they are, unless, of course, we just want to change the whole fee structure and just drop it, which I don't think we're going to do tonight. So I would not be keen to doing it, but if there's a motion to cut it in half, I'll just be a dissenting vote.
It isn't that it, to me, it isn't that it's a nonprofit, it's something for children. And generally, I think we have worked and bent over backwards to make sure that we provide the children of this town with as many options. And so
Sure.
I'm doing it because it's children.
Sure.
I would just add on their behalf, cleaning this hall in May as opposed to February, there is a distinct difference in
Sure.
the tracking which takes place, just for food for thought.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we cut the rental fee for the Great Hall for performance to $250 and accept the list of dates and times as written on this sheet dated 1/23/2026, knowing that the staff may need to shift them a little bit.
I would like to amend that motion. I'll second it, and I would like to amend it. I'd like to cut it to $250, and I will donate the $250. So their fee will be zero, and the $250 comes out of my pocket.
You're a great guy.
All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
One.
Okay. Hearthstone Homes, pilot. Jim, do you
Yep.
I know we've done this for many years.
So in front of you, you have the Hearthstone Homes request for a payment in lieu of taxes. You have been provided the 2024 pilot, the 2025 pilot, based on the municipal tax rate at the time. Based on that information and the municipal tax rate of $3.21, the payment in lieu of taxes would be $17,940.69. And I believe we have somebody here from Hearthstone Homes, Mr. Gillespie, to speak on its behalf.
Hi, Ed Gillespie, board member, Hearthstone Homes. I don't necessarily have a presentation. I'm just here in case anybody has any questions about the organization.
So what is the actual number, Jim?
Based on $3.21 per thousand of assessed valuation on the municipal tax rate, the total would be $17,940.69.
So is this consistent with other organizations similar to Hearthstone Homes?
I don't know if we have any other pilots.
I don't think there are any.
I think this is the only one.
The only one we have is in the enterprise fund in Barry, right? We got a pilot on Barry. That's it.
So have we done this before?
Yes, we
Yes,
have.
Oh, yeah.
for many years. And we worked out the calculation too.
Yeah.
So it's an annual event. I think you see in the cover that last year got missed for some reason. I don't know.
Last year was missed.
Yeah, it was a miss. Like 17,940, you're comfortable with the number? You have nothing to challenge it?
No, we don't. We
You're
are
good.
comfortable with it.
Make a motion that we approve the pilot agreement for the Ledges and Christian Ridges at a rate of $17,940.69.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Dave, I have one thing I would like to say. In 2023, the pilot was $18,959.38. That's based on our tax rate in 2023. In 2025, their payment was $17,940.69. So my brain says that was about $100 less. Oh, wait, hold on. $1,000 less. Interesting. So
Yeah.
this shows that their actual tax burden based on property taxes has gone down over the last 2 years.
It's gone down because of the valuation of the property.
It's going down.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All those,
Thanks for coming tonight.
we vote on that?
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ed. Okay, next on our agenda, Brookfield Beach Pass.
So for the past, I think last year was actually the first year we did this. We issued passes to the town of Brookfield for our beaches. They were managed through their town offices. I believe we issued 10 of them. It seemed to work out well last year, and Christine, I believe, is here to speak on behalf of it, as well as a representative from Brookfield. They're requesting to do this again.
Yes, I'm Rich Zacher, one of the selectmen. From our perspective, it worked well. We'd like to thank you for letting us participate. And we'd like to have it again this year if possible.
So what is it?
We have 10 passes to park at Albee Beach. So we can park at Albee Beach and Cary Beach. And we let the residents of town take the pass out for a week and use it for that week to access those beaches, the parking at those beaches.
So a question to the board, are we going to expand this program to anybody else or other towns? That was my thought.
Dave, Brookfield is the only town in our school district that doesn't have the use of a beach in their own town. So we've offered this to them last year as a program to see how it would work, and we didn't hear of any extra congestion at our beaches, and we've heard that the citizens of Brookfield are very grateful for the availability to be able to take their kids and go to the beach with other kids from the school district that they know, their friends. So I'm okay with it, and I hope that Brookfield, if they saw a need to expand, would come to us and ask us. And if they're okay with it, I'm okay with it.
So when a resident in Wolfeboro goes to get the beach pass, or they pay $5 or whatever, is that the same? No?
Go ahead.
Christine, right? Yeah.
Christine Collins, Wolfeboro Parks and Rec Director. So this actually was implemented in 2024. Brookfield reached out to us to ask. Brookfield is part of they pay into the program fees like Tuftonboro does. And when we transitioned the beaches, they weren't allowed to go there anymore. So what we ended up doing is we utilized how we do the hotels. We give the hotel passes that don't expire, but they have numbers, and every year we check in and we see what is no good and what we need to replace. So we tried that with Brookfield. They were issued 10 passes that they weren't issued to the residents. They had to come in and sign it out like a library book or something of that nature. And then they would return it. And then every year we check in to be like, have you lost any? Do we need to replace any? So I believe you have 10? Yeah, they have 10. So there wasn't any issues. I can't really tell you if it was a Brookfield pass versus a hotel pass. We just know there wasn't any issues with the numbers that we gave out to them. So this would be the third year in a row that it's implemented if we give it to them.
So when I read the narrative, it didn't say it was a program or anything. That's why I'm kind of at a loss.
It was one of those things that they requested it through the selectmen, and then we tried it as a pilot program in 2024. There were no issues. They continued it, and they just every year come back and ask.
So do we offer them the rec programs also that they could participate in at the same time?
They are eligible to participate in recreation programs because they pay that grant every year to us.
So do you folks know that that's available?
They do.
So any takers?
And Jan is always down at the beach. Mr. Chairman?
Probably 3 years.
I'll just move
Any
to
other
approve,
questions?
the annual Brookfield Beach Pass program.
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jan.
Next on our agenda is fossil fees.
So you may recall a couple months ago, there was an in-depth conversation related to the fees for usage of the tennis and pickleball courts. There was a lot of conversation which took place from an applicant outlining the different costs for other pickleball courts in New Hampshire and the region. You may recall, you as the Board of Selectmen did adopt fees for this moving forward. All we're really looking for here is to reaffirm these fees, or whether or not you want to revisit these fees. I am sitting here recommending that we reaffirm these so that Parks and Rec can continue to move forward with their scheduling of programs and the individual users who may be coming forward to apply for usage of the courts can do so, or they can find another venue to utilize. But really looking to reaffirm this or not.
Mr. Chairman?
Paul?
So if I understand correctly, Jim, you're recommending it based upon the strength of Christine's recommendation?
Correct.
I'm going to just make a motion that we do,
We have discussion first.
hang on, we can do that after I make my motion, that we do make a recommendation to approve get a second, and if you want to not vote on it and do something else, great. So I'm going to make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the town manager to adopt these fees for 2026.
If I could just ask you to reaffirm.
Reaffirm the fees for 2026 for Fossfield.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. For the discussion, right?
That's for discussion. Yep.
Okay, good.
Go ahead.
Have at it.
I thought that we were changing it to per hour from per court. So we're making a change, and based on, I think, something I read from you, Jim, that if we make a change, even from court to hour, we are required to do a public hearing.
That is correct.
So I would like
I'll amend the motion.
to, yes, to set a public hearing.
Okay. But I think there was one over here, too. I'm
Yes.
willing to amend my motion. for
I
the
just
public
want to
hearing.
make sure, and then you can go on.
Brian?
So do you want me to give you my input now or wait for the public hearing?
No.
Okay, so I agree with the 800 for a full day fee. Great. I did all the numbers, and the $40 for just tennis courts only ends up being too much if you add it up. If you do the numbers, a better number would be $20 an hour for tennis courts, $20 an hour for pickleball courts, $20 an hour for basketball courts. The whole shebang by the day is $800 rental, and I believe that we should take the trash disposal fees and the cleaning fees and lump it into one number that says trash and cleaning fees to charge $95 for that per day. The reason is because we've had groups that have said, I throw my trash away, I'm not paying for that. I take and I get a porta potty, I'm not paying for, even though people are still using the bathrooms, I'm not paying for that. So I think we should make it a required trash and cleaning fee for $95 per day. And just all I want to do is cut down the pickleball, basketball, and tennis to $20 an hour. Because if somebody rents all of the pickleball courts and the tennis together, I look at it and I say, okay, they're spending $80 an hour, and if they're there for 8 hours, they paid $640, and they didn't use the basketball courts, they didn't use the pavilion, it just didn't make sense. So that's my take on it. Christine and I had a talk about it, and she's like, whatever the board wants.
So,
Well, that's not a good answer. What's your response?
My personal response is, this is a public area that is utilized by all, so I don't want to get in the habit of renting them. I created a fee structure because we had requests for it. However, when you have those requests, it's 4 days, 3 days that it implements, it takes away from people to do there. A perfect example is the pavilion has the bathrooms underneath it and the water fountain underneath it. So if someone wanted to reserve the pavilion, now you really can't because there's water fountain in the bathroom. So we already have a heavily used Fossfield area. The courts are constantly being used, so I don't really want to get in the habit of renting out our courts. And when I asked around to other recreational facilities, it's not practice. It's first come, first serve. There are select few. I did reach out to Exeter because that was part of them. And the one thing I took away from them, because I specifically talked to the program coordinator, for tournaments, they charge $1,000 a day for a tournament because that means there's a lot of people there. And based on the request we had, it would be up to 600 people. So it's hard to have it still open to the public if they're just renting that small area when 600 people is really spreading out to all areas of that facility.
No, I think John's.
John?
so I was wondering about the pavilion cost for cleaning.
So the cost in there, the $50 for the trash fee, that is actually when we have to do an extra, so we do pick up trash, right? And we do regular cleanings. But when I have a tournament, I actually do an extra cleaning because I have it on a rotation of the cleaning. But if there's a tournament, they're there for 3 days. I need to make sure that bathroom is cleaned every day to refill supplies and make sure we don't have any clogged toilets and they're all set.
So how much
Same thing
is
with the
that?
trash. It's the $50 fee for the trash and the $60 fee for the cleaning.
Oh, so if you rented an Airbnb, go somewhere you're going to get a $200 cleaning fee at a minimum. So I know we talked about this way back when, and obviously I think that the cleaning fee is way low. If you're going to do a tournament, you should at least be able to say, okay, under 100 should be $200 a day. Over 100 should be $500 for the 3 days, in my view.
Well,
So I apologize for the, that's not the right answer comment. That wasn't the, I was
Oh,
just
no,
looking
yeah.
for a recommendation.
No, that's fine. Yes.
And I can't, I'm not smart enough to know whether we're clearing around Airbnb or whether that's comparable. I want to know what your recommendation and Jim's is, and it sounds like what you're trying to accomplish here is when we do rent out these facilities, we are being, again, we're just getting the money back that it's going to cost us. We're not trying to make a buck at this.
Correct.
But I also think you're trying to balance, if I hear you correctly, you're trying to balance that what we don't want to turn this thing into is commercial basketball season.
Correct.
So that, some kid that, wants to come down with his friends and play basketball or use the facility can't.
Right.
Because it's booked.
Right.
That's not the business, pardon my word, it's not the business I think we want to get into. I respect Brian, I respect your thoughts on things again. I can't process this other than I expect them to do their best practice look, and I'm willing to amend my motion that we agree to these things subject to a public hearing on the conversation. If there's a second to that, that would be good.
I can't second that. I would second holding a public hearing, because you hold a public hearing to hear what the public says.
Yeah.
And I don't want to set it and tell them that's the way that it has to be. So I will support holding a public hearing on the fees and use the ones that we have.
Okay,
And then get public input on it, and then at that meeting, decide whether we want to go forward with it or
Okay,
not.
so just so I'm clear, so what we're doing here is we're not going to change any numbers.
We aren't?
No, hang on, just let me finish and then, we're not going to change any numbers. We've taken Mr. Deshaies' thoughtful comments, but nothing's going to change. We're going to take what has been proposed, take it to a public hearing, and then decide to change numbers if that's appropriate? Is that what you're looking at?
That would be where I would do it.
That's going to be my motion.
And I'll second that.
And John, then conversation for you.
So how many hours do you have in cleaning the facility with man hours if you clean the pavilion?
We actually hire a cleaning company to come in and do it.
So how much are you covering your cost?
Yes. Yes.
At $50?
No, that's for the trash pickup if there's an extra trash pickup.
So what's the total cost?
So for the trash pickup, that actually goes through highway.
I'm asking the total cost for cleaning the pavilion.
Cleaning is $60 a day,
You just went like
per day.
whatever.
And that's something that is a fixed cost anyways, because you have it done every day, correct?
Right. Well, not every day, but yes, I have it done on a regular. But when I have an event like this, if I don't have it on my schedule, so say it's a slow day, so I have it on Tuesday, I didn't have it on Wednesday, but now the event's on Wednesday, so I'm adding that Wednesday cleaning.
So we had talked, in a big event, you would have to go down there twice during a day. Would you?
Right, depending on how big the event is, if I need to, and honestly, with that event, I remember I had to be involved because there was a toilet plugging, so I had to go down there and check that out as well.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. I'm talking about the event paying for the costs for the people
Correct.
to go down there and that have to come on a weekend or on a special day, and I think we should cover our costs.
I think that's true. Isn't that what you suggest we're doing here with these prices?
Yeah, so with that, it would cover the cleaning, but you're right, if I have to have someone on call, perhaps I have to bump that up in order to cover that person that needs to be available if there's an incident. The lights don't go on, the toilet gets clogged.
Then whatever you need to change to make
Yes.
it what our goal here, and I hear you saying we want it to cover the cost.
Right.
So if you have to adjust something,
Okay.
and then that will be what we'll put out at the public hearing.
Yeah, so you could say, and I'll change my $95, I think we should put trash and cleaning together, put it at 110, because we've had people say, well, we took care of the trash, we're not paying for trash removal. So we've had that argument. So I would combine them, $110, and you can very easily take that statement, as John says, and say, trash and cleaning, $110 a day, could be or may be or will be adjusted for other occurrences, or whatever you want to say, so that if all of a sudden they do have to come down, John, you're covered too.
So mechanistically, is that something that you can adjust, or are we?
Absolutely. There's
Hang on,
contracts like
hang on,
that all the
hang
time
on.
that say,
Mechanistically, is that something you can adjust here before we go to the public hearing, if you agree with it?
Yes, so what I'll do is I'll bring this back to the table, put in a new, make sure all these rates are matched up for the 2026 season, and then
with that.
reissue it back to you, so then we can use it for a public hearing.
Yep.
Okay.
Probably would call the question.
All right. All those in favor of moving this to public hearing?
Aye.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Christine.
All right, next, Linda, you wanted to bring up about the Zamboni?
Yes, I would, and I have handed out to the board documents that I got late this afternoon. I was at a Friends of Pop Whalen at 7 this morning, so may not be functioning on all cylinders right now. But they would like to go out and raise money to purchase a new Zamboni. And what we have before us are quotes for a model 546 propane, and the other one they're looking at is model 552 electric. And I've brought this information here, and I have an extra copy if there's anybody, or 2 extra copies in the audience who would like to see it. What I am looking for is for us to kind of decide whether we are more comfortable with the propane or whether we're more comfortable with electric. And I think one of the issues with the propane is that there are some risks with propane. One is that there are some states that do not allow propane Zambonis inside ice skating rinks, and so that seems to be an issue, even though that costs more. I'm going to turn this over to Brian. Brian spent a lot of time today calling around, and let him kind of fill you in on some of the things that he's found. Brian?
okay. So while I spent maybe 5 or 6 hours today and made some phone calls, while there's no blanket national ban, Minnesota, New York, Massachusetts, California, and Rhode Island all have bans or strict restrictions on running any propane or natural gas vehicles inside indoor buildings. That would be fork trucks and man lifts and Zambonis and rinks. So if it's coming down the pike, it could be something that if laws change in 10 years, 12 years, we would have to then get another Zamboni. So right now, all of the NHL uses electric. We're not NHL, I understand that. But I made some phone calls today, and I started by calling the Peabody Ice Rink and asked the Peabody Ice Rink what Zamboni they had. They have an electric exactly like we are looking at that they bought 2 years ago. Then I made a call to 3 different repair companies that repair Zambonis and asked them what their take is on what we should use. The 3 of them said primarily they are seeing more electric units bought and maintained than propane units. I was then pushed to Dara at Proctor Academy. She's the head of facility management there, and they bought a year ago the exact same model electric that we're looking at again. I believe the same one also went to the Concord Everett Arena, and they just bought one. So one of the repair companies that I got in touch with was Farmer Brown Repair, Zamboni Repair. I guess he used to service the town under Kathy Rankin. Then when Ethan Hipple came, and I don't know the reason why, they started going to a new gentleman, Precision, out of Western Mass. He talked to me and he said that He likes the electric Zambonis, but he would keep it simple. He said that he would not use the, let's see if I want to make sure I word it right. He would not use the fast ice system. And Mr. Druin actually says in his analysis that the fast ice system, if it breaks, you can use the Zamboni as a regular system. And the three mechanics that I talked to said, or three different companies, that this has been happening to them a bit. They also said to me they wouldn't recommend the lithium-ion battery because the more simple lead-acid battery can be maintained easier and actually can be fixed if it breaks instead of scrapped. They also said that when you use a lithium-ion battery, you end up using more computer systems, which can always be more problematic. So their take to me was go with an electric, put in the least amount of bells and whistles, you'll have a more reliable, good unit. You would want a lithium-ion and more bells and whistles if you were cleaning a facility with multiple sheets, 2 sheets or something like that. The woman, Dara, from Proctor Academy actually invited the town of Wolfeboro, if we want to go up and look at their new 1-year-old Zamboni and bring our guy to drive it, to just look at it, to touch it, whatever we want to do.
So here are the prices, and I think that is the propane, and I want to make it clear to everybody that the Friends of Pop are going to go out and fundraise for this. They're just trying to make sure that the public knows that and that we kind of talk about what kind of a machine we would like. The propane is $139,553. The electric is $196,028 plus $4,200 to get the electricity to the facility and hooked up, and so that total would be $200,228. So there's quite a big difference in price. They just kind of wanted to get a sense out of the board whether they were comfortable going with either a propane or an electric, and to let the people know that they're working and they will be out fundraising to get the rink a new Zamboni. They need to order in February in order to hopefully get a new Zamboni the end of November, beginning of December. So that's why there wasn't a time to get this on the agenda ahead of time, because we met this morning. So there we go. That's why I think I got it all.
Just one little...
Can I just say one thing?
Absolutely.
So, that we're looking at a permanent solution. However, I do have a temporary solution, just so people are aware.
Yeah.
We are picking up a loaner Zamboni tomorrow morning. We're bringing it to our facility. We have to get our ice made, so we'll be doing that in the evening once we get it to the facility, and then we hope to be back open tomorrow, Friday morning is when we'll start being open.
So do people rent or lease by the year a Zamboni?
I'm not entirely sure about that. It is a little bit pricey if you were going to do that. I got a temporary fix because we were in a desperate situation, so we can examine that further.
I'm just thinking we're in a peak buying point right now. We're at the top of the market in the middle of the winter. Does it make any difference?
They couldn't find a lease purchase, and they've been looking around. They're calling all over the place. They're trying to find whatever's out there.
Yeah.
And realize we need to get something. We'll stop. The loaner will go back at the end of the season, and we're going to have to figure out how we start up in August to get to wherever this machine comes in.
I think it would be November. So that's what we need to figure out, is we need to get through this season and then figure out the beginning of next season if this is the route we're going.
So we wouldn't be starting early next year then?
Could.
We could be. I mean, we have to figure out the numbers, but we do need to figure out those numbers, right? With the cost of renting it, and if we open early, do we have enough ice usage? But
so
yes.
The numbers again. So where's the money coming from?
Fundraising.
This is coming from fundraising, not out of the town's pocket. They're going to donate it to the town. They just want to know whether you'd be comfortable with a propane or whether you really want electric. That's what this is here. They're not asking the town for the money for this. They're going to go out and, see if they can find in the public the money
Dave?
to donate this.
So they, I talked to Mr. Druin today. He has approached Zamboni about a purchase lease. I asked him about that. He said they don't do it. And I called about 15 different companies that rent, lease, whatever, looking for used equipment. Didn't find anything that I thought would fit the town's needs. But I'm looking at the 200,000 that Linda said, and as I said, the people that I talked to said, scale back on the bells and whistles. You have a single sheet of ice. You don't need a lot of the fancy stuff. Your unit that you buy is going to be far superior to than the 26-year-old unit you're driving. So they said that basically looking at it, you could take about $30,000 off the price of that 200 and still get a machine with the same engine, same capabilities, plenty of battery power for us, so you could get it down to about 170. That gets you in between the 140 and the 200. To me, I think that's the sweet spot. That's where we could actually have something with longevity that would work, that it doesn't have to be a Cadillac. We'd have a damn good Toyota.
John, you had a question?
So I'm just going to say, if they're buying it and they want to go all in, let them buy the best model they can that will last the longest.
Yeah, I think the question we're looking, propane or electric.
Yeah.
I would go for the electric one, because the other one here, the propane, what you have is you have NO2s, nitrous dioxide, and that's what got us into this position.
Paul?
So last weekend, when we were in a bit of a twist on the Zamboni, several of us were asking around, neighbors and friends, sons and daughters, trying to rent a lease of Zamboni over a long period of time. It's really hard to do that because the residual value on these things is almost zero. So there's nothing left when they're done. So that, and I think Victor probably figured that out. The only question that and lithium-ion Zambonis the chemistry of that battery is subject to thermal runaway. We haven't had any of those, but when they go on fire, they go on fire, and they're hard to extinguish. So lead-acid batteries may be the way to go. We got to keep them sensed, because those things can stink up and create all kinds of nasty fumes. But the issue that I heard from my son, who used to be the president of Dover Youth Hockey, was that you got to get your tape measure out and you got to measure, the belly of the unit, because the battery is down low, and some of the ice arenas, and I don't know whether we're susceptible to this. In some of the ice arenas, you literally had to create a different access egress path to get in and out of the building and the dumping because of the belly of the unit. So my personal opinion would be, if we could source an electric, fine. I'd stay away from lithium ion, fine, for thermal runaway and all that kind of crazy stuff that happens. But I would just make sure that we get the tape measure out, make sure that whatever we're going to buy is going to fit through the door, so that we don't go, we got to do something. And, we are going to have to explore, and I don't know what the right methodology is. We have to explore getting three-phase power to where that little puppy is going to get charged up. And I don't know how that works. Hang on, I'm almost done, Brian. We have to get that thing charged up, and we have to figure out how to get power from that pole just behind the Abenaki Lodge, which is where the fuses are, over to where you want to charge it. That's going to be a cost we're going to have to get our heads around too, okay? And that's probably going to be on us, don't you think?
Yeah, I added that 4,200. I think, Christine, you were the one who'd gotten the quote for that. That's it.
$4,200
Yeah,
to get it from across the street.
I think we already have three-phase
Yes.
building.
We already had the
Yes.
three-phase capability
Dave,
in there.
can I talk?
We just need to have the plug for it, which, when I talked to the electrician, we really can't put it in that Zamboni room, so we were talking about, you'd have to put it maybe on the compressor side room and have a hole
Yeah.
through it so it couldn't get wet or any of the issues, because once that
I know that
Zamboni
my
door
colleague
opens.
is anxious to interject. I just have one thing I would recommend.
Yes.
Having gone through with Barry and with Jeremy, the sourcing of power going up the hill so we can run a motor up there and tow the kids up the hill. Barry was really persnickety about where the fusing location was. And he was also very persnickety about how, if in the future we wanted to have, what's those guns that span the fan guns?
The fan guns,
All right, and how we would get power. I would just do
Okay,
a double
I will.
check with Barry.
Definitely.
Okay, so
Yep.
we don't have an oof, and I would just make sure that we could get the machine out of the building. All right,
Yes.
with that, Dave, I will cede the rest of my time to my esteemed colleague.
We already took his thunder, so that's all right. Did you have something else?
I was just saying that they were already looking at getting the electric Zamboni in and out of the ice arena. That's on their plate.
That's good, that's good.
So according to Victor, he told me that the thing that they were concerned about was how far the back guide ice, how high it lifts, and he said they've done that research now and the electric would fit in fine. He said when the building was built that the Phase 3 power was brought to the building on purpose because they knew someday they were going to probably get an electric Zamboni. They figured all this out in the plans. And to speak on John's point, we're not buying a crappy Zamboni if we take the bells and the whistles off. It's the same thing as buying a Toyota Camry or a Lexus ES300. They're the same drivetrain, they're the same car, same suspension, same everything. You might not have the Corinthian leather and an air ride suspension, but you got a car that's going to last just as long and perform just as well.
John, you
I didn't say we were buying something crappy. So we have to accommodate for the venting, don't we, Paul?
I'm sorry?
We have to accommodate for the venting for the acid when you're charging the system.
Well, it seemed to me that anytime you have any kind of a fuel system, whether it's a battery or propane or anything, it's going to emit fumes. And you just got to make sure that whatever we have in that little room for monitors, sensors, works.
So am I correct that this board would like to tell them that we would prefer an electric?
Electric lead acid
Lead
I think
acid.
that's the
with a tape
consensus.
measure to make sure that it fits in the building.
I've got that. It was the other two, so we're going to do the, not the lithium. Okay, and then if Brian has suggestions, he can talk to Victor, okay?
Sure.
The
Thanks, Linda.
I have everything I need. And if anybody in the audience, I have 2 extra copies if anybody wants to look at the material that we're looking at.
So 20 years ago, I worked at Market Basket Corporation in their warehouse. Every single fork truck man lift in that building was large lead acid batteries. That's what it had to be. It was 30, 40 degrees every day. They took those fork trucks, they lifted huge pallets of heavy stuff for 4 hours straight, changed the battery another 4 hours straight. They did it 365 days a year. They worked great. I am confident that an electric Zamboni that's been operating they've been using them for 20 years, there's going to be no issue.
All right, well, we're going to move along from that. Everybody happy with that one?
Yep. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Big
next
smiley
on our
faces.
agenda is building permit, 29 Smith River Road.
So Mr. Tatro is here from Norway Plains this evening. He has a client who is looking to build on their property. The property in question is a lot without frontage off a town road, which has a deeded right-of-way. Randy has received some guidance from the planning department, and there is a methodology going forward that this type of a situation and project could be approved by the select board as opposed to going through the ZBA or planning board. The issue that we have to navigate through is that is correct if we have a policy as the Board of Selectmen in place on how to deal with this as a private road. We have it as a Class 6 road, but we do not as a private road at this time. I think the best thing to do right now, Randy is very well versed in this, allow Randy to speak on his behalf for his clients and allow you to ask questions of him. I did provide you in the memo. They did go to the ZBA. It was withdrawn. I provided you the guidance from the ZBA attorney. I provided you the guidance from the select board attorney. And I'll hand it over to Randy.
Good evening. As Jim stated, we started down the road this summer by doing a survey of existing features plan. I'm here to represent Tom and Priscilla Hollenbeck. They're in the crowd. They own the property, which is addressed by E911 as 29 Smith River Road. So the procedure that's normally done in this case, see, right now we're on kind of a regulatory merry-go-round. That started back this summer. So normally the survey phase, and then when we get preliminary plans together, we get with the town planner, codes officer, and say, okay, here's what these people are proposing to do. Are there any zoning issues, that are going to affect the shoreline permit process and building permit process? So that happened in October. So during that meeting, we had the former town planner and current building inspector, along with myself and the contractor. In that meeting, it was determined towards the end that it was probably prudent to go through the special use permit process, although there is a current House Bill 281 that has affected this situation, and I won't attempt to opine on the legalese that you guys have got in front of you, but I do understand what both attorneys said.
Can I ask why it was recommended that you go through the special permit process?
Bill Scott at the time had looked at the ordinances, looked at the regulations, and felt that because this particular lot, which was created in the late 1800s, early 1900s, so I assume it had a cottage on it then, it has year built of 64 on the tax card, it has an existing garage also on the lot, and that received a building permit for repairs this past year. So there's been multiple building permits. He just felt that the proper path was to get a special use permit, but he did understand the new current House bill may affect that procedure. So we did the work required for that, got all the plans together, did the research so we could prove they had a deed of easement. They do. The property that they go over, first couple hundred feet, to access their property is subject to that easement. And the easement basically says suitable, to maintain a suitable passway to the property. And that was back in the early 1900s. So we got the information together. We had a site visit by the zoning board. I went to the zoning board, I believe, in November, beginning of November. And zoning board, before I was allowed to present it, had some conversation. They said, listen, we're going to let you present it, but we're not sure what we're supposed to do here. So we're going to have to take it under advisement, and you're going to have to come back next month. We'll let you know, how that goes. So a day or so prior to the December meeting, I got a request from Shauna Sanders and Mike, the town attorney, to be on a Zoom call so they could explain to me what they determined. During that Zoom call, they said to me, listen, we determined that you got two options. One, you can continue through the special accession process with the ZBA, at which you're going to have to probably sign a liability waiver anyway. Based on the current law, you don't have to do that anymore. You can go directly to the selectmen and get it resolved by them. Which one do you want to do? So, I was like, okay, well, I think I'll go to the selectmen. Okay, so then I approached Jim about getting on the agenda in front of you guys. In the meantime, I've got all the information. The history behind this is what I just said, as far as it's an old existing lot of record. The driveway comes off of a Class 5 road, Witten Neck Road, just over, the trailway, over the old tracks.
Okay.
What was Kimball's Crossing and the old railroad plant. So it's a private driveway. It services just them. It's not a shared driveway. It's not a private road. The reason it gets confused is because, E911 has to apply names and addresses to that. And in this particular case, it was formerly, people that know probably, was called Doors Way because the Doors owned the property for a long period of time. So, but it's assigned 29 Smith Point Road. That's what it is. So what it is a driveway. In Wolfeboro, you can have 3 driveways, without being a road. The 4th kicks you into a private road. So in certain circumstances they got frontage, but 3 people access the lots. So the way I look at it, so you got a private driveway with deeded access, you got a shared driveway with the same easements for the people that use it. You got a private road that services more than 4, which we have all over the place. And I think the way it's been treated in the past, and that's just my experience, is if there was a house already on it and there was building permits already issued, I don't think a lot of times they were asked for a liability waiver.
And did you say it has an E911 address?
Excuse me? Yes.
Did you say it has an E911 address?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
On 29 Smith River Road.
Thank you.
Yeah, so in this particular case, because of, and I was at the public hearing back in 2012 or 14 when they had the lots with no frontage, they held it at the Wolf's Tavern. And the intent of that was to make sure that people had deeded rights and they weren't just going over someone's property and the town was issuing building permits that then they found out they weren't supposed to do, and there was a liability factor and so forth. I've only been involved in a few of them since then, and like the attorneys found out, sometimes they were enforced and sometimes they haven't been, and I think the zoning board will concur with that. So in this particular case, the Hollenbecks are just trying to get their permitting process going so that they'll be in a building season this spring. We had the shoreline permits ready to go, but we held off on this because we want to make sure, we don't have a problem with this. So I think I made out the waiver forms that were available. They don't fit perfectly with this situation. I don't know, if that matters or not. I know that a lot of you have dealt with this, especially Dave, over the years as far as this waiver. And again, the owners will sign whatever. They're not planning on the town maintaining their driveway. So we're just trying to get past, the limits of what we're being told. So with that, I think I can answer any questions about the site, and I'll leave it up to you guys.
So Randy, do you think that the number one hurdle is the town not maintaining the driveway? Do you think that's what this whole waiver aspect is all about?
Yeah, and it seems pretty obvious that the town doesn't maintain private driveways anyway.
Correct.
So,
I think something Paul brought up at the beginning would be important to me. Does 911 recognize this lot and building? And the answer would be yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, E911 was set up,
Created the
Dave,
problem.
Right.
to not have confusing points. And in this case, they kind of do a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I realize that. But that would be one important thing for me to recognize, that that is in fact in place.
Yep.
So, the other things were, what was it? It's been a private road for many years, obviously you said that, 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah,
is what
the
you found?
original easements was suitable passway was,
Yeah.
I believe, 1913 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's been there for that long.
yeah.
Yeah, and they have, from what I can see here, there's 2 lots involved.
Yeah, there's the main,
One's 2.8 acres and the other one's 0.23 acres.
yeah, what it was it looked like it was a little storage building that the railroad had adjacent
One
to.
up here.
Yeah, and along the way, the owner of the camp lot bought it. So it's a separate lot. I'm not sure, they'll probably do a lot merger for that, ultimately, but it's still the same owner, one owner driveway.
That's what it shows up here on your notes.
Yeah, and there was an easement granted to MED and, for the access for the electrical and the power back in 63, 64. Yeah.
Okay, Linda?
Yeah, I really don't think our Class 6 road waiver fits. I mean, we don't want them at 12-foot with 4-foot shoulders. And so, there are tons of these types of things, houses down by the lake that, were built along the way. And this one, there's a pre-existing building that they're going to renovate or take down.
They're going to renovate. Well, they're going to take down, push it back, and build a new one. Yeah.
Make it better for the lake.
Yeah, and we went through that a little bit with the ZBA.
Yep.
But again, they still got to go through the local and state shoreline permit process.
Yep.
And yeah.
So I think we really need to get a form that fits as we go forward, that they sign something that makes sense and that we don't use a Class 6 one that makes no sense at all. I have no issue. I would like it to be simpler for people to be able to get through this, but I don't think we have the documents, and I would like to see how quickly we think we can put the documents together.
Well, I took the one that we have that was signed by the Hollenbecks, made a couple little changes to it. You guys can look at that as a starter.
Okay.
But what I'm wondering is, as far as, making them feel good to push forward and submit their shoreline permit and so forth in the interim, is if the building inspector can't just issue a building permit the way it stands right now, based on how you guys feel, then the form would be the only other way. Or an affidavit saying they released any, liability rights to the town, something like that. So I'm going to leave it, in your hands, because we went to the planning board because that was part of the special exception criteria, is run it by the planning board, and the planning board's like, what are you doing here? Because they don't really approve it. They just have feedback. So their feedback was sign a waiver. And basically, so here we are.
So what would you like to see, Randy? What would you like the wording to see?
I just changed this to include deeded access driveways. Now, you guys will have to be the ones to decide that, and your attorney, I'm not going to decide that. In most cases like this, had we not had the initial meeting and they decided to go for a lot with no frontage, the building permit would have probably been granted, based on the fact the existing buildings were there. In fact, one was to repair the garage, but so we normally wouldn't get in this situation. I got into it down on the private section of Partridge Drive years ago, because technically those lots down in there were lots with no frontage. And we went through the process with the planning board for that. And that was a paved, 18-foot road, So, but then it stopped being mandated for a while, I guess I should say. So, this popped up now because it was obvious that we were on a lot when we didn't have frontage on a Class 5 road or a Class 6 road or a private road.
Right. There is a zoning ordinance that we have that requires you to go to get a special exception. But by right, because of the state statute, you can come to us. So we can kind of put away the step that you started, and we have before us the other process. And what we're having the problem is we have no structure
Right.
in order to do it. And how is the best way for us to get a structure as soon as we can to get this going for them?
There's two forms that you guys normally hand out.
Jim, am I missing Nathan's document?
Here, Randy.
These are the limitations of liability? In the back.
A beginning point.
Brian?
So, I know you say that it's on 911, but it's something that we should double check, because when I look on two different mapping apps,
Yep.
it has 29 way down here. They call this other little road, Smith River Road, they call this no named or Dolores. So both
Doors
times,
Way. Yeah.
So both times when I put in 29 Smith River Road, it sends you to another little
That's exactly right. That's
down
what I
onto the
was saying
bottom. So
today.
we should make sure that on 911, it is correct before we sign anything with any policy.
I think we gotta
Because
look
they
into
just
it.
gotta make sure that 911 knows where they are.
Right, so we knew that too, and I think I said that at the ZBA meeting. They asked me who assigned it, I said, I don't know. But yet, you're exactly correct, there's 3 different addresses down that road, 3 or 4 different addresses. So when we went to the meeting, everybody kind of went down that road first, and then went down that one. But that is the address that was assigned to that cottage. Why, I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if they want, if there's a new, someone looks into that and they decide to change that, unfortunately, all the plans say that now and stuff, because that's what was designated by the town.
I didn't hear the answer to John's question, Randy.
Oh, sorry, John. What was-
I just,
So my question is, what would you like to see here? Because from my point of view, I think you've gone quite a long time. You've gone around and around. At this point, summer's right around the corner. You've done your due diligence. Pretty much you've met all the obligations. You've gone through the hoops and loops. You've gone to the planning board. And now you're in front of us. You should be able to leave this meeting with something so that you can start the process of getting a building permit and moving forward. So I don't know how the board feels here, but I think I'd like to be able to say when this applicant agent leaves this room, he's got something and he can start in moving forward.
Yeah,
let's
so,
start with a motion, John.
I could get a cocktail napkin,
Yeah.
write it on it.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that we really need the attorney to look over something before we just quickly sign it to here. And whether there's some kind of a waiver that he can draw up that we can get signed and they get started. But I think we have some work here to do. I want to get you and your clients there. But we have, I went out for our Class 6, we have a policy. And I think that's what we need here. And I would, before I signed one of these waivers that he's marked up, that we at least have town attorney look at it.
So Jim, how long would it take?
Paul?
So, when you read through the information provided, and thanks, Jim, for doing it, we have the ZBA Council is introducing a new thought, private road exception. ZBA Council in Shanna recommending on the 29th of January, roughly speaking, that we get Nathan involved. Have we heard, seen, read anything from Nathan?
Yeah,
It's in the packet,
it's in the
Then I
packet.
must have missed it. Where
It's
in
on
my
the back
packet?
here.
right behind the map page.
I don't have that. I apologize.
It's on the back of, do you have the page that has the map right up at the front?
Oh, the only thing, up
Up in the
front.
front.
Hang
It's
on,
like
I
the
apologize,
second
'cause
page. And on the back of that,
this?
no, your map, turn it over.
Brain fart.
Well, it was late last night.
Well, and Nathan
Brain
said...
fart.
Yeah, so Nathan basically said, and I paraphrase, that he concluded with Mike's analysis, the ZBA's attorney, but he wasn't sure of what the result, he wasn't sure
Different
that
way
he
of
had
getting
the
there.
same idea about the result. So to answer John's question quickly, if the building inspector can't be directed to go ahead and issue a building permit once the shoreline permits and the septic design is approved without some sort of liability waiver, I guess, that's what the board says. We're just trying to push it along so that they feel comfortable that that's going to be the case.
So Dave, the last line from Nathan says,
That's right.
in short, I would suggest that the select board adopt some policy, we've heard that before, or standard for making these types of determinations before authorizing and issuing building permits on specific private roads.
And that's what I was saying here, that's why I'm not comfortable. But if we want to move this along, if there's a way Nathan felt we could move it along and sign something, then I'd be willing to do that as we put all this other stuff. But I'm not willing to do it until we get a town attorney to say that it's okay. I don't have an
Why don't we
issue.
take these two documents, give them to Nathan, say, Nathan, look at these and draw us up a,
But here's our
policy.
Class 6 road policy.
so give them that too. Give them
So-
three and say,
So we
Nathan,
need
draw 'em up.
another policy, and he may be able to let us do a waiver before we finish putting the policy together,
That would be great, because...
But I don't know, I wanted to go through him.
It looks like a lot of the towns are going to be wrestling with the
Yes.
same thing because of the House bill,
Yep,
and we got caught up in the middle of it a little bit.
yep.
And given the circumstances in this particular situation, I think if they can get some kind of a nod so that they can push ahead, that's obviously why we're here.
So Jim, when you see a line like that comes from the attorney, how would you react to something like that? Would you feel that you should be stepping into action to make sure that that attorney gives us guidance and a policy on that, or because I think that's what we are.
Yeah, so I think just to start off with, yes, absolutely. The attorney has stated in his opinion that we need to develop a policy. I need to get the direction from the Board of Selectmen that you want me to work on that and go forward and work with the attorney to establish that policy and work on that waiver. The question becomes, I think we can get that done, but I think based on what I've seen historically, we're going to get the waiver done, but we may not necessarily have a policy in place for a period of time because of the give and take of trying to get a policy finalized. But I can take this, if the board so desires, and begin to work with the attorney tomorrow and try to get the waiver worked through, the policy worked through. And as well, I think, if I remember correctly, when I looked at it, the Class 6 policy is dated last amended in 2006, and that probably needs to be reviewed based on some of the changes coming down the pike.
Yeah, I'd be comfortable making a motion that we put together a waiver and a policy, and if Nathan can put a waiver together and we can sign it prior to us putting a policy together, that the board does that.
I'd second that.
So would you add the next meeting to that?
If it can be
If it
done
can
at the
be
next
done.
meeting, yes, I will add that, John.
All right, but I think that part of your motion should be that this is referring to 29 Smith River Road, tax map 177, lot 27.
I'm more than comfortable to add that in. I'll add that in. Yep.
I'll re-second that.
Can we-
Can I ask a question of Randy? Randy, So this is all new stuff. Thank you, the legislature, for helping us through this. In your world and in your business, are there places outside of this town that have dealt with this and have developed a policy?
Nope. Not in my experience,
So like
most of them,
Marlboro and all those-
well, they
all
have the
those-
Class 6 waiver policy.
Yeah, yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
include private roads
Right.
or driveways.
I'm just
normally.
trying to find a way where we can get it done quicker.
Yeah, I don't know of any. Maybe
the
Jim
quickest
can find it through the municipal association, but.
Yeah, I can do a little research on that as well.
Yeah,
and some-
because it's new. The House bill has thrown a little bit of a kink into it because they're trying to make the journey easier on these type of things, and they know, especially in the Lakes region, there's a lot of those situations.
Sure.
So, the Class 6 road one has been around for a long time. It's usually the one everybody hands out, and the planning board basically said, just take that and change it the way you want. And I didn't feel comfortable with that.
Right.
So, obviously, I think, we're in the situation where if we can get whatever they're comfortable with, these people can just sign, say, hey, you don't have to maintain our driveway, and you guys are comfortable with that, and it gives you time to work up something new, that's probably the best way out.
This policy will also include some kind of a
basically-
waiver that has to be inked, and there's an example of it in here.
Can the waiver also include making sure that the 911 is correct?
Yeah, that's a good
Because
idea.
it does show up improperly on the maps, and we don't want to be responsible for that.
Well, that's their problem, not ours. Really.
Yeah, I think we're just saying is whatever it is, a waiver for them to get a building permit.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do here.
And the fire
whatever
department
he-
recognizes that address because that's what got assigned to
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
but Brian's exactly correct. It doesn't seem like it should be. It should maybe be doors away, but that would be a change that,
You
yeah.
can-
And that's
deal with
what we
that.
don't need to deal with now. We're just trying to get it so they can get a building permit, and then we have the time to work on everything else
Yep.
in more detail. And if Nathan can put something together
Yeah, I
for
will
us to
get
do
working
that.
on it tomorrow, and I will try to have it ready for the meeting on the 18th. I will not be here at that meeting, but we'll try to have it all put together.
Does the motion as presented, Jim, give you enough,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Thank you.
You got it. Thanks, Randy. Nice to
Okay.
meet you all.
Next on our agenda is to revisit the milfoil grant for chemical treatment.
So I have signed the grant paperwork as directed by the motion at the last meeting. You have in your packet the MSDS data sheets for the chemicals that would be used in this process. And it is my understanding that this does get noticed by the applicator and in newspapers and local print. So I'm not sure what you wanted to do with this. I'm thinking that we should probably, at the very least, put the grant information and the MSDS data sheets on the webpage. Thoughts from the board?
Linda?
Yeah, I followed up from our meeting and talked to the Milfoil Committee, and I would like to send this back to the Milfoil Committee. They have a meeting on the 26th of February, and have them put together some history of the different chemicals, the chemicals that have used, what they've done, the amount of hand pulling they've done, and the amount of chemical, and to justify their recommendation that that the board sign it, and it gives us time to look at the chemical itself. I will say that right now, DES is working on the next 5-year management plan for Back Bay. What they do in Back Bay is based on those plans, and that's what allows us to get the grant money. So that's in the process. So I really was hoping that this board would just let them go back. The grant's been signed. We're not going to do anything until June, and let's see if we can get the information together and out there and accurate.
Do you want to continue this? Is that what you want to do?
Yes, I'd like to table it and do it the first meeting in March, because they're going to meet on the 26th of February.
I'll second that.
We had somebody who wanted to speak to it earlier, so I'm going to let him speak.
3 minutes.
We have a motion on the floor, by the way, to send it back to the committee, Milfoil Committee.
Sure. Name's Jody Burson. So the chemical is Priscilla Core? Okay. I just wanted to read this quick, maybe for anybody in the room that wanted to just get some quick notes on a little bit about the chemical, if I could just read it quick. And,
Can you get closer to the mic?
oh, sorry. Priscilla Core, it's a Group 4 class herbicide. It's in this. It's the same classification as the 2,4-D. Isn't that what was used years ago?
Navigate was the name of the chemical before.
So 2,4-D is in the same group with this herbicide. Just for facts, it is a synthetic XDE-84 benzoyl ester. How it works, it transforms into an acid from sunlight. So it's applied to the water, and it actually does a transformation when it's in the water to an acid. And then it is absorbed through the plants, through the roots. A low dose of Priscilla Core causes stunted growth. A high dose causes plants to grow so fast it ruptures its cells, killing the plant. It does this by mimicking plant growth hormone. I got some quick notes from the maker of Procylosor. I just wanted to read a couple quick things here that they said. If you could pay attention to the way they word this, they word it as minimal impact on native weeds. Minimal. They don't say no impact. And then practically non-toxic to birds, bees, and animals. It says practically non-toxic, doesn't say non-toxic. And then it says low potential for risk to invertebrates. Low potential. Doesn't say there is no risk to invertebrates. Things that have been said, there's been a lot of studies on this chemical. There's been a lot of use across the country in a lot of lakes. And I got some quick things I'm going to read that was said from these different studies and state studies. And one of them that stuck out to me was, true mechanism is not well understood.
Can you do me a favor, Jody, when you read a fact like that, cite the resource, please?
Oh, I didn't write it down. I should have. But okay. Since it's a new pesticide, info on toxicity is extremely limited. With only a limited number of toxicology tests on a limited number of species, the effect on plants and animals is unpredictable. So at this time, I'd probably say that I'm not for the use of this chemical at this time. If we really wanted to make an impact on milfoil in Back Bay, we would put the ski course back out in Wolfeboro Bay, because the ski boats continuously chop up the weeds and spread the seeds. It's just a continuous pattern over there. I've watched it. I used to take care of the marina, so I know what happens. You can go down and just see all the weeds on shore get chopped up. That would help stop the spread. And then just a quick question for you, Linda. What is the Wolfeboro Waters? What's their stand on the use of this herbicide?
Wolfeboro Waters, I haven't taken it to Wolfeboro Waters. It's in the Wolfeboro Milfoil Committee.
Yeah, milfoil, but is it going in, are they going to talk about it at Wolfeboro Waters or no?
I can take it to Wolfeboro Waters. It's a different committee, but I'm more than willing to take it.
I just was wondering if they were looking into it and had a take on it, that's all.
I have not,
okay.
But I will do that.
Sure. So the EPA approved this chemical in 2018, and New Hampshire DES approved it in 2019. So I say that because I can pretty much almost guarantee you that this chemical will not work in Back Bay. You want to know why I can guarantee it? because Procelicor was used in Back Bay in 2018 before DES approved it in 2019. So I want to know how that chemical was used in Back Bay a year before DES approved it for New Hampshire waters. So I can just, that's a base study right there. There's weeds there still, and that chemical was used in 2018. So I'd like to just leave you with that.
I'll say one thing, we cannot eradicate milfoil. We can control it.
Yeah.
So it'll always be there.
Yeah.
And whatever we put in, we got a permit from DES, and we followed their management plan.
Okay.
So that's what we've done.
Yep.
The town
I
gets to decide whether it wants to use
Yep.
chemicals or not.
Yep.
But we've been going along, and remember, that's the state's water.
Yeah.
And we're working with them. So, and they're giving it,
Okay,
they've given
I
us
just-
money. So I just,
I could be wrong, but from what I looked up, it was used in 2018 in Back Bay, and it wasn't approved for New Hampshire waters till 2019.
well,
So I don't,
DES approved it going in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
that's what I was responding to, because that's who we get the money from, that's who we get the,
Okay.
and we have
So
a
we
management
yeah.
plan, so we may have been their pilot before they got it improved, but it
All
was
right.
okayed by DES.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
I just wanted to
Thanks, Paul.
say that, so
Okay, we all set?
I'm all
Thank
set.
you.
All set, thank you.
Thanks.
So so we have a motion here. Yep,
Just wanted to give you, Bobby Bevan, just wanted to give you Jody's quick source was selective management of multiple invasive aquatic plants in BC using Portacelicor FX aquatic herbicide. It was a webinar, and it was presented by Dr. Mark A. Hillman.
When?
you.
What year?
I'll send you a text.
send us the text.
And what's the doctor's, where is he from?
She gives you
What kind of car does he drive? So I appreciate the conversation and the comments. It's helpful. And Linda, it's up to us, you. I don't want to engage in answer shopping. We need to have somebody who has standing to just come answer the question. And I think where you were going is to get a report from the state.
I'm going to the Milfoil Committee, and I'm hoping that they will get something from the
Okay.
state. The chairman has left. I can pursue, and I will see if I can get something from the state. But let's give them time to go back and meet,
Yeah,
and
agree.
that's all I'm asking for. So we have the true information.
I agree. So that's why I'm not pushing
Are
back.
you making,
Sorry? I'm sorry?
are you making a motion to revisit?
I think there's a motion and a second on
Second
the
on the-
table
okay,
already.
we just haven't
Yeah,
voted.
we were in the middle of chatting about it.
The-
So I'm pushing back, not pushing back on you like pushing back on you. I don't know, and I just don't know whether we have individuals on Wolfeboro Waters who have standing on the issue. Standing meaning, they got creds. And so I think what my colleague is trying to do is to find out from the Milfoil Committee who's got creds and who can, because I think you have concerns, who can allay the concerns that we either do or we don't have an issue here.
Now, I will say this.
Fair enough, right?
The people we in Wolfboro, we're not out there sprinkling this stuff in the water. There's a company that has to be certified by the state, that has to be licensed, they have to have certifications to buy the chemicals, they have to have training to install the chemicals.
I think they have to go through the pesticide board.
Yeah.
It's a state process.
Yes, correct.
But I think we need, that's why I'm saying table it. There is a management plan. I've got to get my hand on the management plan. They're in the process of upgrading it. I need to get the old one, and we have that information.
I think this is a good conversation. I think, Linda, you're doing, respectfully, you're doing the right thing. We can then look at that and poke at it if we feel we need to. Right now, frankly, we're just, whatever.
Yeah.
So with that, I'd like to call the question.
No, you called the question.
So I think when you look at something like this,
Or not.
that you hire people that sprinkle stuff in the water, and then in 4 or 5 years they look back and they say, well, that really wasn't very good. we probably shouldn't have done that. And then 5 years down the line, they figure out on new stuff because there's a chemical company that wants to sell some product. And then after 5 years, they say, well, that's probably not a good idea. We shouldn't have done that. And then another 5 years, another chemical comes out, and so the cycle goes on and on and on. So yeah, everybody does get licensed, and it does get sprinkled in the water, and everybody buys into it. And then once you do it, there's no turning back. And I think that's what we're hearing from Jody out there, is saying, if you do this, there's still a question of a doubt whether or not this is going to be the right thing.
Mr. Chairman, I called it. I'll
You
call
called
it
the
again. Let's call the
question.
question.
Yeah, all those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
And
you.
and things do change, John. I remember that eggs were good for you, eggs were bad for you, eggs are good for you again. So things do change.
Next on our agenda is deliberative session debriefing.
Too long,
Well, that was,
too late,
Too long, too late.
needs to be
well,
2
I
days.
have thought about it as well, and I think that we ought to probably think about having it during the daytime and maybe on a Saturday, similar to what the school district does. And that way we could start it at, say, 9 or 9:30, and if we want to get done at 5 o'clock, we're still going to be able to have supper.
So I was with you, Dave, but I think people had a thing online, and everybody's supposed to vote on where it is. 9 in the morning, if we do 6 hours, it's going till 3 in the afternoon. Everybody will be hangry without eating lunch and going all day. I was thinking 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock. That falls between lunch, between dinner. You can have lunch, you can get home for supper on time, and you're all done. No matter how you cut it, 6 hours on a Saturday is going to stink, whether it's early in the morning or in the afternoon.
Brian, only pick 9 o'clock as a starting point. I don't care what time it is, as long as it's not 7 in the morning.
No.
Jim, okay.
But, Paul?
Wait, did you have it up first? Go ahead.
So I would agree with Dave, actually, and I was saying to Jim earlier, before the meeting started, I remember back when the old Kingswood High School was there, and we were doing it during the middle of the day, and I remember that's probably the first time that I saw Suzanne standing there up at the podium doing her reduction of the roads money and that, and and I remember Dave Ford talking about the Wright Pierce gentleman being a fraud at that meeting also. So that was that settles in my mind. So it was on a Saturday at one time. So I think we should go back to that.
We ought to consider that at some point. Paul?
Yeah, I saw some of the email stuff, whatever, Facebook stuff today, and I appreciate Brian with the hangry comment. A just different view on things. I want to thank Jim. The presentation material that you put together was detailed, and some people said it was too complicated. It was detailed. And some people think it was too complicated. It's because we don't have an analytics capability. That's our analytics capability right there. Right there, okay? That's the analytics person. There ain't any other package you can push a button and get any. That's a hint. So I give Jim a lot of credit for the presentation material that was put together. I think the conversation was good. Somebody actually sent me a message after it was all over and said, there wasn't a lot of yelling and screaming, as opposed to what we see in other cities and towns across New England. I think the conversations were difficult for some people and for all of us, but I think they were good. There's some questions out there that I think that we probably ought to take a gainful whack at. I think one individual said, well, why are you up here talking about warrant articles that don't affect my tax rate? Somebody asked that question, and my answer, and I didn't want to be a smart ass about it, is because we're fiduciaries and we're supposed to explain to you how we run these enterprise funds. That's our job. But I didn't want to be a hosehead and say that to somebody. There was another question about why do some of these warrant articles have capital asks that you have to go put in a warrant article, but over here you don't have to. And That's just the hydraulics of the way this thing works. If you're going to pull money out of an enterprise fund, my words, kitty, you got to get permission to do it. But there's some unanswered questions just about the numbers. And I'm going to go back through some of this stuff if I have spare time and just try to jot some of those down. Where we should have it next year or this coming year, whenever it is, that's a good thing to do. But I do think that we need to strive to make this a hell of a lot easier for people to understand, kind of big animal pictures. And I frankly can't find a way for us to do that with the current set of technologies we have in this town. All right, that's my plead. I just can't find a way to do it. If we ever get a bug in an Excel spreadsheet, we're doomed, all right? So, but we got to get better at it. So I understand that, and probably more conversation around this neighborhood about how much investment we should be making in addition to roads, other things that we should do. But I want to thank the people out there for showing up. I want to thank the people who sat up on the top, and I give them all great credit because those are all of our people who were trying to figure out whether we knew what we were doing. And I think they came away figuring out that we collectively, you and us, we took a hard whack at this thing, and I think they came away thinking we do know what we're doing. At least last night. I don't know whether they'll give us credit going forward. So I thought it was good.
Yeah, I would say that we tried to present it in many different ways. We did the municipal association, municipal budgeting playbook, trying to get that bigger understanding. And when we put that on, when I met with the librarian, trying to listen to what the questions are people ask us so that we can better define it, because we have to follow the RSAs. The other thing is, in terms of warrant articles, it's one of the ways we're the most transparent. We could have put those cars in the operating budget, which we did at first, which would have said there wouldn't have been as many warrant articles, but it wasn't as transparent. So we balanced transparency and too many warrant articles. I looked out in the audience, and it was nice to see that number of people there caring. That was really nice. I agree with you with our staff up there. I wouldn't have liked to do business with us today. I think everybody would have been exhausted when they had to get to work. I thought we had some good discussions, and I thought the process went well. I would like to either go to a Saturday, I can go to a Saturday, or do 2 nights. I think there is a time, if you watched everybody, by 10 o'clock we were pretty thinned. So we need to deal with it one way or another, either on a Saturday and just go straight through, or take a look at 2 nights.
Any other comments? We'll move on. Next on our agenda is a follow-up meeting for Dockside Ordinance.
So we stated about 3 months back, after we got through the deliberative session, we would take a final crack at the docks ordinance. So we need to schedule an appointment very shortly to hold a work session to get this docks ordinance to a point where you, as a Board of Selectmen, would like to hold a public hearing on the matter. We are being approached by the users looking to get their permits for 2026. So I'm here asking, when would you like to have a hopefully final discussion about the ordinance before a public hearing?
Okay, you had mentioned that you're not going to be available in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I will be leaving on the 14th, which is a Saturday. I'm available most every evening next week, and then I will not be back until March the 2nd.
what do you want to do, group? You want to meet next week some evening?
Not really.
Pardon?
Not really. No, I don't think we need to create a special meeting for the docks ordinance. I do not believe that's the case. This should be in the regular meeting schedule, and obviously, we had a chance to settle this way back when, and now we've, again, like you said, we haven't made a decision, and people are coming to us, but I don't believe that the facts are out in front of us. We haven't been given a fee structure that would give us something to go on, and I think maybe after the election probably would be a better time.
Isn't it our job to create the fee structure?
Well, we did create the fee structure, but we couldn't get along so that we could approve the fee structure.
Yeah, we had differing opinions.
Yeah, I don't think we should wait until after the election because of where it is and people starting to want to get applications. So I think we should have our conversation, and I'm more than willing to meet one evening next week and get it ready, and then get a public hearing and have it so people can start planning on what their next season's going to be. I just think it's too late to get it sometime have a discussion in March and then a public hearing after that. That's my 2 cents.
I'm available next week.
Dave?
I'll make time.
I think we've been at this for, I've been using my stopwatch. We've been at this one for 10 hours. A lot of time for a little money. I would like to meet a couple of times, and I'd like to start now, next week. And I'd like to have a non-financial conversation about what we want to do with the dock ordinance. Non-financial, because we got all gummied up with, it's 13 cents a foot, and it's, $8 per visit, and it's just, to me, that for the amount of money that's involved, that's not a good use of my time. But I'd like to have a conversation where we can say, what are the decisions we think we need to get really tight about, and then we can put the prices around it, or not. But what are those decisions we need to take? And we can say, what are the decisions we need to take about the Libby docks? What are the decisions we need to take about the commercial docks? And those decisions could range from, let them all in to letting none of them in. But I would like to have that set of conversations, and it's going to get rough and tumble. And then we can go figure out how much we want to, if we decide to do that, how much we want to charge people to come on aboard. That's the way I'd do it. So I'm keen on having a kickoff for this so that we can get it all buttoned up, because I agree with whomever said it. I mean, people are knocking on the door, and the last thing we want to do is say, we're busy planning, go away, and they go, well, I have a business to run. Right? So I think we need to get about it.
And I guess I'm saying, are we going back to square one? I thought we spent a lot of time making some decisions about the use of the docks. So you're saying we're going to review that? Or are you saying just we're going to take what we've done and review it and then make decisions, decide whether we like what we've done?
And no disrespect, but my mind is mush, but if we've made decisions on whether we should or should not have a commercial dock program, with the exception of the Mount, the Millie B, and the U.S. mail delivery boat service, if we've made any decisions about any of that other stuff, it's news to me. And you could be right.
I asked you, you just put 3 things that we've made decisions on, and that's what I was asking.
So if that
are we going back to 0, and that would have eliminated all that, or are we going to take some of the decisions we've made?
Yeah, in September of 2023 or 4, it was one of those years, this Board of Selected Human Beings said that the Millie B, the Mount, and the mailboat were iconic, and they were like all in, and I don't think we ought to abrupt that conversation. To me, everything else is on the table, and we should have a conversation about that.
Well, when do you want to do it?
Have a meeting next week.
I'll meet next week.
How about on the 11th, Wednesday?
I think it was 23, wasn't it, Linda? Or 24?
You know,
Whatever
you
it
keep
was.
on talking about it. Nobody's given me that motion and that many minutes, so I will
And
not
Do you
confirm.
want to meet
I think
in
that,
the afternoon,
Sure.
Yeah.
like 3 o'clock or something?
well, wait a second.
4?
John works, and we should do it
Accommodate
at
him.
a time after he's
He's not
done work.
working.
I believe that's important.
How about Wednesday, John? What's good? 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock?
Next week on Wednesday?
The 11th.
The 11th.
Yeah.
I'm available on the 11th.
What time?
Whatever time you've got. I've got a meeting on Monday and Tuesday.
Okay.
And I'm available on
How about
Wednesday.
3 o'clock on Wednesday?
BOS
Will
meeting.
do.
Done. Okay.
2-hour time limit?
Yeah.
Yep.
That okay? Couple hours so we don't spend dinner?
I will.
I think it's a
See where we
great
can
goal.
meet.
I have an appointment that afternoon. I don't know if Ollie will be back or not. If not, I will have Amy sitting here. She was here for the kickoff
Okay.
of this. I will get
Amy will
you
play referee.
electronically the last version that we were at. And if I am
That's
back,
good.
I will be here. If I'm not, I won't.
Okay. So we're going to meet Wednesday, the 11th, 3 o'clock.
How about this? We do it for an hour and a half and then we'll lie to ourselves and make it 2 hours.
Okay. Anything else on that? Okay. Move on. Libby trustees meeting.
Move to go into a Libby trustee meeting.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the purpose of this meeting is somebody's looking for permission, the Chesapeake Price Indian Trails map. And we have a letter, I believe, in our file in reference to that. In our packets, rather.
Came in on January 15th.
Yep. So what do you want to do?
And am I correct that they want to make replicas of it?
Right.
All right, they don't want to take the trail map itself.
So I'll just start up here. So I think we've got something priceless with that map. I don't mind if they want to come and take a picture of the map. I don't want to see the map go outside the purview of anybody. It should stay where it is. If we want to let them into the Libby, they can go into the Libby, they can take a picture of the map, and other than that, I really don't want a whole bunch of people handling it, doing anything with it, but making a picture of it.
Can't make a print from it. Think about it.
Well, it says here in the thing that they already have
That's what I thought.
original printings or pictures of the map. They just want to make copies on quality paper. So it doesn't seem like they need to go into the museum at all.
Okay, then.
That's how
what I understand.
Well, I think clarity is required. If they want to go into the museum, the condition would be, you can't touch it, you can take a picture of it. But they want to make photographs of what they have in a digital format. The question for us is, do we think that's a good idea for them to do that? They have the, they have the digital file, and could they make photographs of it?
We're going to have things straightened out right now.
Yeah.
Clarity is on the way.
Correct.
Yes, clarity. And
the jib jab.
who's the letter from?
What's that?
Who's the letter from? It doesn't say in here.
Ian Xavier?
Yeah.
A group?
They're from the James E. Nichols Library in Center Harbor.
Oh, library.
Okay.
Let me just ask, has any of you people seen it? Does
Hey,
anybody remember it in Phil DeSalle's homeroom history room
Who are
on
you?
the wall?
Who are you?
Julie Jacobs, hi. Do you remember seeing it in Mr. DeSalle's room?
I had Mr. DeSalle, but right off the top
It
of my
was
head.
right there next to the door. This, I'm talking as Blacksmith Printing right this minute. The library hired me to preserve and make digital copies of the maps that are at the library. So they have 2 maps. I don't know if you guys have seen them. There's one map that's pretty ratty, that's an original. The map does say it was done by Mr. Price, 1956. Right under that it says, copyrighted, the Libby Museum, 1957. Okay? Then there's a second printing that was done in 1982 by Kingsley Press, a reprint. Nobody's seen any others since. So it does exist at the library, it's locked up. But you can get the digital file. That's probably what these people did. But if you look up copyright, we own the copyright. Why would we send out our stuff to be printed by somebody else, which is fine, but to be sold by them? That's just my feeling.
I'm with you.
So you could say they could, we have another person here who wants to maybe comment too. You gotta go up there.
If you look at the copyright a little bit, it's 100 years plus
Yep.
No, it's 28 years after.
for art.
You have to introduce yourself.
For
Amy
Annie Leonard. Yeah, but Annie,
But I don't
it's,
think you should give it away.
but it's 100 years when we still own it. 100 years after our death. The town owns it because it was copyrighted by the Libby Museum, not the Friends, the museum, in the year after it was taken over.
So your notion here would be, it's ours, its copyright is ours, we don't want to let anybody have access to that copyrighted material? Is that your kind of
To
theory?
sell.
Yeah, right, for money.
For money, exactly. I mean, if it's the library, if they want to make a couple of prints, they can get the digital print.
Personal use.
You know, and, or for, hanging on the wall, that sort of thing. But don't go off and print 1,000 of them and then sell them.
And sell them for $80 a piece.
That's just kind of wrong,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Input? So the ask here is, are there copies available in the letter for purchase, or are the selected human beings able to allow our library to make copies?
I think I know the answer to that. I think it is currently out of print. Because that conversation came up at the Friends
Yep.
a few years ago.
Okay.
And we kind of went, we don't know yet.
Yep.
Because at the time, we still have the Peter Ferber print doing that. So this was kind of like in the background of like, oh yeah, we could do that sometime. But we hadn't got to it yet.
So the notion here is, it sounds, unless I misunderstand, it sounds as if the Nichols Library folks are saying, if you have copies that I can buy, I will buy them. Sounds like we don't have copies for sale, so they can't buy them. The question maybe for us is, do we want to make copies so they can buy them?
I know where they can get some really fast copies,
But, and
So-
we should
if
put,
that's all they want to
A
do.
little self-interested, I think that's
You
good.
think it's pretty cool,
I think
huh?
that's good.
And we-
Actually, they've been in touch with Kingswood.
Oh, no, because they just did the second printing.
and if we do that, we should have some kind of a waiver or something that it is for display, not for selling.
So Dave?
So that they get the copy, they can't then try to sell the copies.
And Blacksmith hat's back on, blacksmith printing again. You can go to the library and ask for that digital file. You can walk it down the street to me. I
Okay,
can
and
print it for you.
whatever. Oh, I thought they couldn't because it was copyrighted.
It's copyrighted, but you could get it from the library like that. Then you can print it on your home printer. That was the whole purpose of them having it digitized, so everybody could join it that way.
Okay, then I
So-
misunderstood what you said.
So if they've already got the digital file, which it sounds like they did, they could print a couple if they
They could
wanted
just go
to.
print it.
And they could just, put a little sign on it,
So
Compliments
copyrights
of-
for works published before 1978 are generally valid for a total of 95 years from the date of publication, provided the copyright was properly renewed. If the initial 28-year copyright was not renewed for works published between 1923 and 1963, it expired. For ones after 1978, and this is what we're not sure, if Kingswood Press did another printing, did they copyright it again, or was it copyrighted again? You can look this up on the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. They have everything trademarked and copyrighted. Then, for anything published from 64 to 77, it's 95-year term, and after that is,
I can stop you right there, Brian.
yeah,
That's not artwork. This is a piece of art.
Yeah.
And
doesn't matter, copyright is copyright.
no, they're different
No, they're
copyrights.
different.
And also, Kingsley Press only printed it. They printed it for the town of Wolfeboro, the Living Museum. The Living Museum owns the copyright.
Yeah.
It's printed right on that map.
So let's just assume for the heck of it that it is material that we own and that we have some protection for that material. Let's just assume, just for the giggles of that. That puts that off to the side. The question is, we have somebody here saying, hey, can I buy some copies? And can I raffle them off? That's really the question in front of us.
Suzanne?
I'm Suzanne Ryan, doing what Brian does all the time. I just went to the computer there. The value of Mr. Price's trail maps, market value breakdown, reproduction, print value, modern or post prints of this map generally sell for between $25 and $100. They don't need to come to us. License and user fees, the New Hampshire Historical Society lists specific fees for using the image, $25 for nonprofit publication exhibit and $100 for commercial use. Fine arts value, while his specific maps rarely appear at major auctions, prices other works, primarily architectural etchings, typically realized between $10 and $720. Signed, high-quality sketches often between $150 and $300. The point of what I'm trying to say is it's available in another form somewhere else. They don't need to come and mess with what we have archived.
But it seems to me, at the risk of interrupting, that they have come to us. They're trying to be polite. They're trying to say, we'd like to get your permission to do that. So I got all of that stuff that you could probably, we could probably go down to New York City and get a copy if we needed it. But they've come to us and they're asking us a perfectly legitimate business question. Hey, can I get a copy of this stuff so I can raffle it off? That's the question before us. Whether we have a copyright to it or all that, I'm just assuming that we own it. I'm assuming we have protections on it. I'm just assuming all of that stuff is true. Do we want to, as trustees, say, yeah, bang out a couple of copies and raffle them off? That's really what the question, I think, Suze, that's what the question is.
Then I would, as a citizen, recommend that you say no.
You'd recommend, and why?
Because we own the copyright,
Yeah.
it's our maps, and if anyone's gonna make money off it, we're gonna.
I
We
see.
don't care to have you make money off of our
Yeah.
map.
Okay. So the input here is, it's our stuff, and you may want to raffle it off, but we don't want you to do that. Okay, that's fine.
Well, you could think of a better reason. That's-
Okay.
Okay, got my Friends hat on again. Friends of Libby now. The Friends have thank you notes to the receipts for tax purposes that have a very lovely wreath on the front of it with the twin flower and everything that was commissioned many years back from a lady in Australia. So when it's time to reprint those particular thank you notes, we have to pay that lady $50. It's probably gone up this time, but we have to pay her for the right to use that for that specific purpose, for that specific thing. In its license, basically. And we're on good terms of, I'm going to give you the money, thank you very much. She just says thank you much for, contributing to the cause at this point. I think with the letter, Suzanne, you listening? I think with the letter saying that, sure, you can go ahead and have the, the PDF, know where you can get it printed, priced as $10 each or whatever, maximum of $25. not knowing what they're doing. I feel that that's fair and that's a normal thing to do with that kind of digital art. They may not want great big ones, they may small ones. That gives them an option, but if you put together something like that with just a few, you know, nominal fee to say that we passed it, we did it, we're shaking hands all around, that's not a bad thing to do.
Not a bad thing.
And it keeps this alive because it is an important map. It's been around for a long time.
So is the idea here, if I hear you correctly, Jules, the idea would be, we say, we're going to make 10, I'm making it up, 10 copies, 5, and they will be provided to you in return, in consideration for you making a copyright payment or whatever to
Yeah, a little license.
A license. It's a licensing kind of effect.
Or not even print them for them.
That's right.
Just say this, on this piece of paper, you know, we give you the right, and here's the electronic file to have what you want printed, and please only print according
And
to
the
the
further
paper.
understanding is you're going to use these things as a fundraiser for your nonprofit organization. You're not going to go out there and use this to raise money to to buy him a new Zamboni or whatever on your house, okay?
Yeah.
So,
Zamboni on a house.
well, whatever you
Is
want to do,
that?
put an addition on your house.
But that's
So,
the-
but if you would license it out and we just say, we're limiting it to you, you can use it for nonprofit purposes, and we just have to set a price.
And that's what I was saying before. We needed to have a document that explained
Yeah.
exactly.
We did it with this lady before, it was, you know, very fast. It's like 3 sentences long,
Yeah.
but it
Well,
states how much, how many,
Yeah.
what's the form, and then the other guaranteed portion is we had to ship the finished product to her so she could actually see what it was, along with a digital thing saying that, yeah, this is what we're going to do. Just some proof and some good natured back and forth, and it's worked out well for her, it's worked out well for us.
So Suzanne, is that the map?
It's
Is that the map?
anybody can get make a
So
copy
if-
of the map.
Do we have the original?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So how does
Take
somebody
me
like
forever
that
to find
get,
it.
how does somebody like that get the map if we've got the
If somebody
original?
wants to get a map, a
Yeah,
print of the
so-
map, they could just get it
I'm
off
I'm
here.
asking if,
But they're asking us.
Yeah, I hold 2
For our
patents
copyright.
for pet
Well,
care
just
products.
refer them to there's other ways of getting it. You don't want your map that's stored gingerly away, hopefully, disturbed.
Yeah,
But
so-
I'm understanding there's an electronic file. And so at the library, they wouldn't get the map itself. They'll get the digital file that they then can print the map off of.
So Dave, I hold 2 patents for pet care products. I have actually had to have a patent infringement suit against a company that started manufacturing the same product that I manufactured. Anybody can go out and get a copy of something like this, but they would be having copyright infringement. If we want to, we could then prosecute against them, get them to stop, or make them sign a licensing agreement with us for a certain amount of dollars. But I will I'm not standing corrected. In New Hampshire, as in with any other states, copyright for art created after January 1978 has the author's lifetime plus 70 years. Before anything, if there is not a continual renewal, it becomes public domain. So unless there is proof that this map that was done in 1958 was renewed, and that copyright was renewed, it becomes public domain.
Read the part about ownership. Because we own the physical piece that's also copyrighted.
I'm in a little bit of a
So,
different space.
so the
Friends of the-
clock doesn't start until we die. There's a lot of us in town.
Well, it would have had to been renewed. I've had a patent, my 2 patents, they have 20 years on the patents. So when you get them, you have to renew them in 3 years, then you have to renew them again in 5 years, and then you have to renew them again in 7 years. If you don't, your patent becomes public domain, and anybody can do whatever they want with your patent. Artwork is the same. If you have a copyright on it, you have to renew your copyrights. If you don't, it becomes public domain.
I have a different I agree with all your thoughts about patent liabilities and all that. It's important. I think this library is coming to us and saying, hey, what we'd really like to do is we'd really like to get your permission, the Libby, little cachet question I feel here, the Libby, I'm picking up on your keep it alive thing, and that the Libby trustees have agreed to, provide, pick a number of copies that will have a license there, and then they can raffle it off for their nonprofit. I'm thinking that's kind of the motion that they want to get going here. I don't have any problem with that. I don't have any problem with that. It's our property. We could do that. And then they could go do their fundraising. It's like raffling off, I don't want to say bad, it's like raffling off important things that came from the Libby Museum.
I think the word's fellowship.
Pardon me?
I think the word is fellowship.
Fellowship. There you go. I'm okay with doing that.
In the letter we have,
Yep.
it says, part of it, we have in our collection a copy of the Chester B. Price Indian Trails map. So they already have a copy of the map. We would like to sell copies of the map as a fundraiser. So it says that they believe Libby Museum has the copyright for it, which we've just talked about. Then it says, are copies available for purchase, or are the selectmen able to allow our library to make copies? Question. So it seems to me like they already have a copy of the map. They want to be able to make copies of the map as a fundraiser. They're looking to us, it seems like from this letter, they're looking for permission to make copies and sell them.
Yeah.
That's what I read in
As a
here.
part of their fundraising.
So they already have a copy of the map, so they can reproduce it.
But they're saying we have a copyright, and because we have the copyright, they would like our
Because
permission.
they're librarians and they look at that stuff.
Yes, and so they're looking
Okay.
for our permission, and
So
they're
here-
saying, are you going to make the copies for us to sell, or, that's what I read.
So if you've looked at the Peter Ferber Libby Museum poster that was done as fundraiser, we still have that. I have that for sale for constantly because we have a stack of them. That was also in conjunction with the Art Place, because Peter Ferber did many posters of camps and that sort of thing. And so it's sold for usually $25 or $30. Whoever sells it, be the different art places, gives a portion of that to the person who holds it. So we've been doing ours also with the art place because some more came to light. So if they sell one, we get a little kickback, like a little donation back. That could be a thing to think about that way also. Yes, we could still get them the file to print from. They could talk to us about it if we wanted to supply them with the goods. They haven't figured out what it was, but that could also be part of that license. You could have 50, you could have 100
Right.
for this amount.
It's all reproduced-
Or you could print your 50 for you.
It's all
and
reproduced with
back
the
this way.
permission of the Libby trustees, and they can mount it, and they can do it.
So I have a question for you. When the Friends of the Libby purchased, did they purchase, or how did they take ownership of the maps?
It was done for the centennial.
Okay.
One of the members, I believe it was, no, it wasn't Priscilla, it was, the name escapes me, who was the director many times and was really deep into it. She personally commissioned it.
Okay.
So
And
there was an
that
original somewhere, I believe it went with her. Several hundred were printed.
Was that 1982 that the Libby took over the map? What year did
No,
that?
I'm talking about the poster, the Peter Ferber poster.
Oh, I'm talking about the
Yes,
maps.
which the Friends does own the copyright because Peter gave it to us several years ago.
So
But the other one,
the maps.
the maps, this is my other hat, this is the blacksmith printing hat.
Yep.
I was hired by the library to do that for them, to make that available for everybody.
So if the maps were done in 1956, they had a 28-year copyright that would have had to been redone in 83 or 84 to extend it another 67 years.
But
So
if you look at artwork owned Your copyrighted artwork is owned by the people that own it. The copyright does not run out until 100 years after that death.
I think we're...
So
no
I think we're
disrespect,
covered.
we're in a Can I, Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? Is it proper if we ask a member of the public who's sitting over there with a red coat on, who used to have something to do with the museum, that we could kind of ask you a question? Can we ask you a question, Ann? Would you mind? Is that okay?
Sure.
And did anybody ever come to the right during your...
Let me back up. I am not a lawyer.
We don't want you to be.
And I served at the Boston Children's Museum for 20 years as what
So
you
you
guys
got
are
some
doing.
baggage.
I have baggage. All I know is museums are far more complex than you can believe.
Yeah.
To use the AAM, American Association of Museums, start there.
Yeah.
Don't start reading about, what Washington DC or the, Smithsonian says or whatever. Start at the AAM. They're there for members. I don't know if the Libby's a member. There's lots of good material there. And I think some of it's common sense, but there is a huge ethical piece to museums.
Yeah.
And the ethics here is, if you're giving it away for somebody else to sell, that seems pretty commercial.
Right.
But I think there's an opportunity for both institutions to do the right thing. And you could, I don't know what that is.
So during your tenure...
It could be another DOCS decision, so that's what I'm worried about.
Go sit down.
And you could go to 130, and I'm worried about that.
During your tenure, most recently at Wright and then at Boston Children's Museum, do you recall someone coming and...
I feel like I'm on the friggin' witness stand.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Would you raise your right hand? Did anybody come to the right and say, listen, I want a copy of something, and do you remember how you handled it?
Well,
Just to give us some structure to this.
I'm not an expert, but you always have to go back to the creator or
Anybody
the
come to Culver?
copyright. And Julie said it, she was really trying to help you with this.
Right.
And she knows copyright stuff.
Yeah.
And so there's ethics and copyrights that have to somehow mesh in this one. And giving away Libby stuff, you guys, you own it, you are in charge of it for the town. It's a town asset. So...
I got the principle. I'm asking, did anybody ever come, anybody ever ask Mike Culver for something to reproduce and then sell did you ever have any of that come before your board?
We had works of art from Charlie Miller.
Yeah.
And he went to the family and he said, we would like to do this for the benefit of the museum. Can we use one and make a poster? And they said yes, for the benefit of the museum. And those posters were given to major donors and stuff like that. Each situation is different.
Yeah.
There's ethics. So in that case, there was a family. In this case, there's copyright and history. And it's all, collections management ain't no piece of cake to, it's not a cakewalk.
So it's not just a $4 million price tag
You
to
can't
build a
just say
building. You
A
got to
plus-
run a museum, right?
Well, yeah, so...
Yeah, I had to get that in.
I mean, yeah, it may seem like nothing to the average person, but there were people involved in the trail.
Yeah.
The donor, you always have to respect the donor
Right,
first,
right.
even if they're dead and gone.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it's complex. Sorry.
No, but
There ain't no add water and stir.
it's
I'm
a
just,
museum.
I'm just going by the U.S. Copyright Office.
Yep. Well, museums add another layer of complexity. So I don't have an answer for you. I just,
So I'm going to make a motion. I'm going to make a motion so the people watching us don't think we can't fight our way out of a paper bag here. I make a motion that we allow the New Hampshire Library trustees to make a copyright set of the Chester B. Price Indian Trails map for $10 a piece, and we will allow them to make 10 copies.
I'll second for discussion. Do we need to confer with the Libby or anybody else, or are we okay just doing this on our own?
My understanding it is the town as the Libby. And we are conferring with ourselves.
All right, then I will second it, and no more discussion for me.
Well, I think it is complicated. That's why, hey, no, Jules, hang on. Let us bloviate here for a minute.
How
It
much
is
do you want?
complicated. And it's complicated because
50?
50?
Okay, 50.
You gonna amend it to
I'll
50?
amend it to 50.
Wait a minute. Paul had the floor.
Oh, sorry.
I'm done.
All right.
Well, wait a second, guys. Let's see if we can pull ourselves
Can I come
back
back up?
together.
Yeah.
I think it
and
is complicated
let's
because this
see
is museum material. I'm sorry, Linda, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I'm done.
Finish.
Definitely want to limit the copies and number them. That's what I would say. Do you agree? Limit the
Number the
copies and number
copies.
them.
Okay, so you want to add that we number the copies?
How many did they ask for?
He said 50.
And that I'm asking him that
Yes,
we add
yes.
numbering the copies.
Mr. Chairman, can I speak?
Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Paul, go ahead.
I would
Annie
Wait,
Lennon.
wait a minute.
Oh, sorry. I
Mr.
just want-
O'Brien has the floor.
I think that Ann makes a good point. This is why we don't know how to navigate out of a paper bag because we don't know how to run a museum, John. We just don't. That's an impression that I have. It's not all about the building. I would suggest that if we are going to provide or agree to provide a copy of this piece of art, poster, whatever we want to call it, that we ask through Jim that our lawyer draft a short license agreement which ensures that a couple of things are accomplished. Number one is that it's for them to use for their nonprofit. It's not, whatever it would be, and then we'd be done with it. But I agree with Ann. It's complicated. It's different, and I'm not smart enough to know how best to do this. Other than I think it is. What was the word you used? Fellowship. It's a fellowship kind of a thing to do. We just got to make sure we don't look stupid when we do it. And I'd ask Nathan to write up something for us that keeps us, safe from the U.S. Patent Office and keeps us, true to the mission of the Libby, which is, share the collection where possible. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just to kind of make life easier for you, NewHampshireHistory.org, Indian Trails map by Chester B. Price, Lakes Region of New Hampshire, 1956. Collection name map collection. Title Indian Trails map by Chester Price. Creator Chester B. Price, the Libby Museum. Creator role, publisher. Ascension number, blah, blah, blah. ID number, blah, blah, blah. Date 1956. Type of material, cartography material. Scope, I'll leave all that.
That's right here.
Terms of use. For permission to reproduce or publish material from this collection, please contact the New Hampshire Historical Society. Researchers responsible for following all copyright and intellectual property laws. You might want to start there first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it also was organizations, New Hampshire State Planning and Development Commission and the Libby Museum. So I would start with, they would tell you where to go.
So there's a motion on the table to do what now?
I'll withdraw my second.
I think the motion that was on the floor, John, if I'm right, for $10 to print.
Yeah, I amended that to $50. Yeah.
Quantity of copies?
We need another second because I withdrew my second.
Quantity of copies?
10.
Okay. And
The size?
well, I don't know. My question is, if there's a motion and a second, I would just say that we should not just simply adopt this. We should have some type of a writing, and we do have the New Hampshire Historical Society as a resource here, but we should ask our attorney to just write something for us so that we license it out properly.
So I would like to add that to the motion.
Okay,
How many copies? 10?
10.
How many do they want? They say
That's-
copies, they
Doesn't say.
don't specify.
That's what the motion is. That's what they get.
That's what they get.
At this point,
Give it 10.
that's where we are.
Yeah.
At $50, is it? Okay? And then we're going to get a agreement out of.
A license agreement or something.
Whatever.
from council.
If he wants a license
Right,
agreement, or he
right.
might want something else.
Yeah, right.
That we get an agreement from town attorney.
Yep.
So are you understanding that there's 10 individual copies at $50 apiece?
My understanding, and they're going to be
And
numbered.
that's going to be reviewed by Nathan,
Yeah.
so he can approve the draft contract. Is that what you would like, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay.
What if they come back and they say they want 25 copies? What do we do?
10.
Why don't we call the motion?
Before you do that, can I ask what you just said? 10 copies at $50 apiece?
Yep.
These are paper posters.
Well-
Just saying.
They're not going to.
Dude, you think that, you don't think we're charging enough?
She thinks way too much. I can see her eyes.
So here again, we might be having this robust conversation about a couple of bucks.
So
Yeah.
what if
call the
I
motion.
take your information and I take it to Nathan,
Hang on,
Yeah.
voice of reason, here it
get a
comes.
draft of a license agreement, you can take the next couple weeks to determine what you think the value should be of the agreement, and on top of that, based on something that Ann said, we probably really need to make sure that the donor's intentions comply with what we are looking to do.
So let's back out all the motions, is that what you're saying, Jim?
I'll make a motion that we, if you'll withdraw.
We have a motion on the floor. So let's defeat that one so we can go
Okay.
to the next one. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
Okay. Motion is not passed.
I make a motion that we turn this over to town attorney to make sure that we're following all copyright
Yep, there you go.
rules
There you
and
go.
regulations, and if we are to draft us a document.
Second.
Can I ask for an
All
amendment?
those,
Can I ask for an amendment to it? That someone calls the museum, asks them how many copies they want?
Yeah, we'll do that. I'm with you. I'm exactly with you. Let's get this thing done, and then we can
Let's
ask
get this
Amy to
first
kind of
part.
say how many you need.
All right.
Yep.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
And Jim, would you mind asking Amy to reach out to the, thank you.
All right, we also have a request here from the Hicks family. I think you all have read it. And I'll tell you one of the ironic things about this is that Pamela Proctor Hicks graduated with me from high school. And I didn't even know that until I looked her name up. Sure. I have just been made aware of the closing and potential raising of the Libby Museum. My family, the Young family, who have resided in Tuftonboro since 1700, donated a white crow a few generations ago. If the Libby Museum is closing, we would like to see about having it returned to us, as we are very involved with ornithology and especially with corvids. It would mean a great deal to us as we lost all our family's records, correspondence, books, and possessions in a fire that burned our original family homestead built in 1700 back on October 29th of 2005. That's in Tuftonboro. If someone could contact me about what the status of the collection is, I would be most grateful. Tracy Hicks, Pamela Proctor Hicks, Mary Young Proctor. That was dated December 29th.
I believe the letter that, or the note that Amy sent to Ms. Hicks is probably appropriate to read into the record as well. Would you like me to do that? Hello, Ms. Hicks. Trustees are discussing the future storage of the collection. There is an inventory of the collection, and we are reviewing requests of returned items from the collection on a case-by-case basis. When you indicate your family records of this donation were on fire, they say no longer exist. Amy was asking just for a little more clarification. I think we made a thud effort at deaccessioning, and I think I would recommend that until we have clarity as to what we want to do with the collection, including deaccessioning, that we just simply say that it is part of the collection and will be treated as a whole. Stay tuned.
Okay.
That would be my
Is there
advice.
a second to that?
I don't know. That would be my advice.
Well, I think that's a good idea. We should at least acknowledge the letter.
Yes. Well, Amy is, I think,
Amy's
going back
already
and
done
forth.
that.
Yeah, she's going back and forth on it. Because we've had a few of these, and in personal opinion, I personally would love us to go back to the people who may want to get these back into their family, but you know we're in the middle of some other conversations on the collection, so I just say stay
Okay.
tuned.
Any other business?
I'm fine.
There was a motion, right?
Need a motion to come out of?
Did you get a second?
I did not.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Linda.
I thought, okay.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And there was one other document, Dave, something that we received from the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance, reminding us that
It's a 7 to 3.
that Maggie Steer has assisted the town and high-qualified specialists and alike. So this was a nice letter from the Preservation Alliance saying Maggie has retired from the Alliance and she's a valuable asset. Please, give her due consideration as being a helper. It's kind of the way I read it.
Yeah, at the January 21st, 2006, the chair of the Friends of the Libby read a letter, and we were supposed to get a copy. I have no record. I went through all my emails of that letter.
Oh, I would do.
And could we get a copy of it? Because I don't.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
I don't have it. For some reason, we don't have it.
Yep. Yep. I know. Do you have it, Jim?
Last one, you read it on the 21st, the last meeting, you read us a letter saying, I'm going to send it to you. And I went through and my emails, I don't have it.
Okay.
Get up.
Hasn't come out.
We'll put the PD on it and see if we can find the letter. But in the meantime, if you have an electronic copy, do us a favor and just shoot it over. That would be great.
It would be nice, because I was,
Yeah.
we had a meeting and I didn't have anything to look at.
We'll take it's in the stack, but if you got an electronic copy, you should just send it over. That'd be great.
Thank you.
Move to come out of Libby Trustees meeting.
I just want to say, isn't it wonderful that somebody really wants something that the museum has? And that's an upside.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Isn't it wonderful that the discussion we've had thus far it's about, it always degenerates into the hardware of the building. This is a museum, and we're not good at it. And if you want to, the paper bag comment does resonate. We're not good at this.
Paul,
okay?
you keep saying you're not good at it, but the thing of it is you've never had to do anything
Okay,
about
well,
it or with it.
We're not
so-
here to debate it.
Well,
I'm just making an
telling
opinion.
You can't keep saying you're not good at
Well,
it
I will,
because you don't
because I
have
can
to
do
do
that.
anything with it except appropriate $40 a month for somebody to watch it. I'm just trying to be
helpful,
optimistic and beat, and you got to start in with, we're not good with it. That's a cop-out.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Thank you,
for
Suzanne.
positive-
That was very good.
What I would like to say is, to the representative, the Friends have a meeting February 16th, March 16th, and a tentative of April 20th. And what I'd like to, that's the 16th, and maybe the 20th.
Maybe
And
March
what I'd-
20th? Did you say
4:30.
March 20th?
February, March, tentative April. February and March on the 16th.
Yeah,
April the 20th, tentative.
okay.
Start time at 4:30.
All three of them?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Got it. Thank you.
And what I'd like to say is there needs to be two-way communication here, Paul.
Yes?
It'd be nice to have happened to see this, just because I'm looking at the agenda, that this, could we get notification by email or something that when you're going to have an agenda item for the Libby? As well as I just tonight gave you our meeting dates. If something comes up, we'll contact you. It has to be a two-way communication going, because we're at loggerheads and something's got to give. And I'm tired of it.
I don't have a problem with that. Do you have a location of your meeting?
That's Julie's place, right?
It's at Julie's. She can only hold up to 8 people. I believe it's 8.
We're there.
Yeah, so it's not like a big gathering.
Yeah.
And secondly, relative to the letter that I hand-delivered, that I read late at 11 o'clock at night, that was about the collection. We need to have a serious talk about the collection. And I will make sure you get that letter again, because it had bullets on suggested things that need to be done by, I can't remember who or what, because I don't remember what the letter said. But we got to start talking about it.
Would the Friends of the Libby be up for a joint meeting with the Select Board?
No,
Okay,
we got a representative right now. The board may want to have its own meeting prior to a legal meeting. Maybe to direct your directive person as to what you would like, after you read the letter, what you'd like to target. But we don't need to have a whole production. We just need to start talking.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking for the letter, because I
Yeah.
was looking at what you had provided for us, so that's the start. We, not
Well,
only do we have to
I did
communicate.
hand-deliver it. I did hand-deliver it.
I'm saying,
I'm sure you
And
did.
I don't know why it didn't get to you, but, okay. Thank
I
you.
just want clarification. Noticing of any Libby trustee meeting, am I notifying you or am I notifying somebody different?
Yeah.
And how is that going to take place? Because... Okay, that's all I'm asking for. Thank you very much.
All right,
Okay,
somebody want to make a motion to come out?
I did.
and I'll second that.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, next on our agenda is old business. Anybody have any?
I do. So I'll ask first and see if Jim is going to give us any update on Steve Randall and the sewer pipe at the town docks.
So there was another test performed. There was, they opened up the pipe that was frozen, and the test came back negative, 0 on the test. That will go to you in my notes on Friday. Steve's providing me a report every Thursday. The reason he's providing me that report on Thursday is so that I can provide it to you as a select board on Friday in my weekly notes, and that's all I have at this point.
So I guess I'll read the email that was sent on 1/22. My other question was, from this letter, you were doing a species test. Did you get any results?
We are not doing a species test yet.
And can you tell me why?
because it's about $6,000, and we want to make sure that if we're spending $6,000 for species testing, that we actually have something to test. The results that we just got back being 0-0 would have been a waste of taxpayer dollar.
Okay. So on January 22nd, I do believe this is, is this the most recent January 22nd letter? Is that what you have?
As far as the testing,
Or the letter from your Public Works Director?
I believe that's the most recent one that I sent to you last Friday, correct?
Okay, so do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
You got it right there, you can go ahead and
Okay,
read
it
it.
says, on the afternoon of 1/22/26, the Public Works Department went downtown to the town docks to further investigate into the discussion pipe. A group of 5 of us asked the manager of the Downtown Grill and local Topia for access to their basement. He agreed. We stationed one person at the capped outlet pipe with a bucket to catch any water that might come out of the drain that had been installed in the morning. As soon as we opened the valve, we had water. It appeared to be clean and had no odor. We drained that down. We then proceeded into the basement of the grill, where we found 3 pits in the floor further back into the basement. One had a pump. One had a pump that did not work. One had no pump, and one had a pump with an approximately 1-inch poly line running out of it. We traced that towards the outside wall between the building. At this outlet, there was a pipe junction of a pit with a non-working pump. Tracing the outlet back further, we did find a sump pump with a working pump. We proceeded to put green dye tabs in all the sumps and manually cycled the pump. We traced the 2-inch outlet pipe out between the building, where it made a 90-degree bend towards the lake. After a few feet, it went below the ground. As the pipe cycled, a puddle formed outside where the 2-inch went into the ground. Pump shut off, puddle shrunk. We found that all the drain sumps in the basement are connected by an under drain. After repeating this cycle a few times, we got a hint of green dye at the shutoff by the lake. In summary, the roof drains are tied into this pipe. This is based on the observation of the water quality visual inspection and of the above ground connection. There is also water from a sump getting into the drain through what is probably a bad connection that allows it to pool, then slowly drains. This is based on visual observation of the water and the presence of dye in the outlet. We found no evidence of piping from any sewer sources following into the pump, but it did have an odor. Next steps will be sampling the outlet and the 3 interior sumps on Friday, 1/23. We'll be doing both E. coli and fecal. The goal with the multiple samples will be to identify the cause of the issue. We are working on securing the lab to do species testing, but in the meantime, it will continue to move forward. I will forward all test results to the town manager. There's one other letter. There's another letter that he sent to us that talked about meeting with the DES.
That's correct.
Would you read that letter?
Have I read that letter?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
I don't have it in front of me.
Let me pull it up.
So the good news is, unlike some thought, there is no sewage getting pumped into a pipe into the property or into the lake in any place.
We can't conclude that. We can't conclude that. We know that there was an odor in one of the pump pits, and after putting multiple cycles of water through it, it's probably pretty sure that the water coming out the pipe was going to be clean, but because you were putting clean water into the pump so that you could get the pump to kick on, so you weren't getting sewer water because you weren't putting sewer water in the pump. And I think the fact is that something has changed, like was thought about, because the fact is that there was a test of 2,400 of E. coli coming out the pipe, and now there's nothing. So something has changed.
Yeah, it could. There are times when there's a drought and we have a porcupine that lives in the culvert underneath the driveway across the street from my house.
We're not talking about your house and a porcupine, Brian.
Hold on. Don't interrupt, please. I didn't interrupt you. That porcupine stays there until all of a sudden we have a rainy season. Then the porcupine is out, and what comes out of the culvert? Everything that lives with the porcupine's feces, the porcupine's nest, the porcupine's everything. So if you have a drought during the season, that pipe could have had chipmunks, squirrels, mice, anything living in it, and yes, you could have some kind of test that's high. But from what they have viewed in the basement, there is no sewer line hooked up to a pump that's pumping out. Again, if I go to the beach during low tide, what does it smell like? If I dig in the sand sometimes at Weir's Beach, what does it smell like? You get organic matter that decays. If I have a bucket of water that sits out in my yard for 2 months or 3 months and I tip it over and dump it out, what does it smell like? Decaying organic matter. Until we have a test and we know exactly what it is, and it is animal specific, it's all speculation. And speculation becomes misinformation.
Okay, Brian, are you done? Because what we had a public works director that initially said he ran the eyeball up the pipe and he saw rat poop and mouse poop. And he said he went in the building and he saw no sump pumps. We had a health officer that went up in the building also, and he said he saw no sump pumps, but he said he saw a masticating pump that was hooked into the sewer, okay? So now we know the public works director went into the building and found 3 sump pumps, okay? So the question is, did he actually go in the building to say he saw no sump pumps, or did he go in the building and not report that he saw pumps? There seems to be a lot of speculation going out there in the public also.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Are you done? John,
I'm waiting for Jim to come up with
I got the letter here. I'll read it for you.
Okay.
It's like a couple of paragraphs. I think you're asking about, there's a letter that Steve wrote to Jim that talked about testing and pumps, and then he mentioned something about DES. Is that what you want? So I'll just read this for the benefit of the folks out there. The preface, it's halfway through the letter because I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time. As you look at this report, you'll see much different numbers than what was present in the first test. So the numbers are changing, okay? Good. What sticks out is the fecal levels at the sample point, and whatever. The fecal levels are moving around, okay? I, Steve Randall, was contacted by Robert Livingston of the Watershed Investigation Division of the Department of DES. We will be receiving a letter from them citing our deficiencies in complying with the state RSA on discharging any water into a water body, okay? From my phone conversation with him, this could have widespread effect on our downtown area. We're working on setting up a meeting with them to discuss this further. Is that what you wanted me to read? Okay, so let me, if I could, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I apologize because I used the S word. My interpretation of what I'm seeing here is we don't have a clue as to where this stuff is coming from yet. We know where it's going. It's going into the lake. It could be Brian's porcupine. It could be something else. We don't have a clue where it's coming from yet. We know where it's going to. Now, a gentleman is going to come visit with us and is going to take a look at, prospectively, the entire dockside area. I personally, and I think I I can only speak for myself. I want this to be out in the public. I want everybody to see it. I want to have just boom, see it. I will also just simply say, and it's not meant to be disrespectful to anybody here, John, you particularly, I really don't want to spend a bunch of time, any time, not a second, trying to figure out how we got here. Not interesting. We can do that later. I want to figure out how we stop the pollution if there is pollution. Period. Nothing else. And then we can have a team back session and we can figure out, how we got here and all that stuff. But right now, if we really are putting bad stuff in the lake, whether it be a mouse or human poop, we got to stop it. And we have to find it. And it has to end it. And so, we'll have somebody come and visit with us, and that's great. And then we can just look back in the rearview mirror and try to figure out whether we made or didn't make good decisions. Did we miss something? That's all. Thanks.
So as part of that letter, Mr. Randall does make a mention that this is why I want Jim to read the part of the letter that talks about him handing it over to the codes officer, because that's kind of what I wrote in the December 18th letter that I asked Jim to say, please. I'm writing this morning to see that that's not it. I wrote the letter on December 18th asking Jim to send it to the codes officer and tell us what the protocols were. And now Mr. Randall has actually said do you have the letter, Jim?
Sure, would you like me to read it?
Please, thank you.
Okay, the second page, single paragraph, correct?
Yep.
Going forward, we will continue to work on the discharge sample and find a lab for species testing. As for any issues inside the building or of the private property, I think should be turned over to the Codes Enforcement Department and Health Officer to identify any issues that might need to be corrected.
Great.
Steve Randall, Director of Public Works, Water and Sewer Utilities.
Mr. Chairman, I still reiterate, I think, we have Public Works, we got Code, we got Health Inspector, the Health Officer looking at this, and I think that's all the right team to do it.
So
we have somebody coming up from the state. I think what we need to do, put it all out there, and then and we have to find the source of the pollution. And I don't, and Brian, just pushing back a little bit on yours and pushing back on Steve. The pipes are frozen down there, right. So the ability for us to sample any of this stuff might be a little ambiguous. I think so. It might be just like but what we do know is that somehow a little dye pack found its way through a sump hole, down a pipe, and it shot out into the water body, all right? The same color that went into the hole came out the hole down in the water body. And that means that groundwater is coming up and getting pumped. What's missing in this whole equation, and I don't know who to ask, but somebody said on the record that November 17th or some day like that, somebody witnessed that water was coming out of that 4-inch pipe under pressure. If it's coming out under pressure, that means it's a pump. And I'm not here to try to figure it out, but I think we just got to get all the right people to figure that out, because it could be poop. And we don't want poop going in the water. And it could be, and we've got maps and we've got all this kind of stuff, but we can't figure out where it's coming from, and we're going to have to just continue to prosecute finding out where it's coming from, because we know where it prospectively is going to. And that's all I want to learn at this moment.
I know there's nothing we can do until it thaws out, one thing, because I don't think we can dig between the buildings at this point. And I think John would agree it's probably all frozen, so we can't dig it up. And we'll have to give permission from the owner to dig it up in those areas. We can do everything outside and in the parking lot. So I think we're at a standstill, except for Steve taking some samples, if he can get them. If it's all frozen, all he's going to do is chip ice at the end of that pipe, and it's probably not going to show anything in it anyway. It's going to be clear.
So are you proposing, Paul, that the state come to the board and give us a briefing on what they want us to do?
Well, I'm proposing that we're going to get a letter from the state.
Yeah, they're going to contact.
Okay, we're going to get a contact from the state. They're going to come want to take a look-see at what's going on. We should all be privy to what's getting looked at.
Absolutely.
This is just pull the curtain back. I mean, let's cut it out. Just, and then we'll look at it and we'll say, huh? Because a little more data for the student body here. Those pipes that are in the ground, a former colleague of mine, ours, said that they were dripping water out there when he was in high school. So it's not a new phenomenon, all right? It's been there. The question is, what's going down the pipes? That's all. We just need to pull the curtain back, take a look, and say, well, there it is. And then we'll deal with it.
Yeah. As I said before, you can look at the history. There's pictures, there's documentation. We had a sewer line that was when you come from the town hall and go down through North Main Street towards Nolan's. There was a sewer line that was installed on the right-hand side of the road. There are pictures with captions documented from back in the 30s of the people installing the sewer line. Then in the early 70s, when the federal government and the state gave us big grants, that's when we built our wastewater treatment plant. We stopped discharging sewerage right into the lake because guess what? Back in the 1930s, it happened all over the entire United States. That's what people did with their sewerage. In the 70s, we built the plant. Linda, when was the plant built?
It's somewhere in the 1970s. I don't know.
75 or 74.
I don't know exactly which
So
year
at
the
that
date
same
was.
time, and you can see the documentation, at that same time, we built a new sewer line right down the middle of the road. How do we know it's down the middle of the road? That's where the manholes are. You drive over them every time you go up and down the street. And when that was done, what did they do? Did they rip out the old sewer system? Nope. There's the square stormwater grates on top. That's the old sewer lines. So the old sewer lines became our new stormwater system lines. Where did they go in 1930? Just said it, into the lake. So where does the stormwater go? It goes into the lake. It hasn't been changed since then. Are you allowed to discharge water directly into a wetland or a water body? Depends if DES allows you to, if you're grandfathered, if that's that, the other thing, or blah, blah, blah. Or are they going to ask us to take and capture all of our stormwater, pump it, and build a new stormwater treatment plant with another place to dispose of it for 20, 10, 15, $30 million? Maybe. Could be. That's where we could be going down the road.
Linda?
Yeah, I just want to make one comment. I agree with Paul. In fact, I had written to Jim saying that I want to be at that meeting with the state, and I just feel that that's important. I agree. We need to get it out. Just my comment.
The order.
So I've got one more point.
Go ahead, John.
So when Mr. Randall was here, I asked him if he took a camera and took photographs of the pipe when he sent the eyeball up. He agreed he would. Do we get pictures of inside the sewer pipes? Do we get pictures of anything that was sump pumps? Do we get pictures of that stuff?
No, my recollection was when he ran it, he didn't video it. He just was able to see it. I don't recall that there was a request to do another run up the pipe to video it for the select board.
I'm asking if when he did his discovery outside the building, did he document his findings in photography outside the building, the sumps? Did he?
I'm pretty sure he said in that meeting that he had not.
So again, we have no verification of anything here. We have none.
Mr. Senecal?
Yes.
And John, with the highest respect, one last time. I'm not really good at understanding sewer pipes. I really ain't. I'm really not gonna, this is just me. I really don't want to get into the business of asking the second, third, and fourth order detailed questions. I think that this can degenerate into us looking over the shoulder of our town employees, and I don't think that's appropriate. We catch a lot of guff from the voters that they're not doing their job, and maybe we need to back off. Stop tasking them. If we think that, hey, did you document what you did? No. Why not? Maybe next time you should. But I think we need to back off. We need to get to the bottom line that says, is there poop coming down? Yes, there is. We don't know whether it's animal or human. It's going into the lake. Fact. We just got to figure out where it's coming from. And all the other stuff, John, respectfully, I just think we need to sit back and let them do their job. And if we don't like what they're doing, well, when we do the after-action conversation, we can say we don't like the way they did their job. Right now, that's not what I want to do. That's personal opinion, my personal opinion. Okay?
All right, anything else? Because I want to move along here. All right, any other old business?
Oh, I just have one. We got a email from Amy, and she said that the approval that we did in 2025 for a monument over on Brewster Field that we approved for DAR that they were working on and that they were going to find a location for, that we're going to have a discussion with them about the tree and whether that tree has to come down, and that they are in discussions with Brewster, DAR is, about the exact location, and that they met with Mr. Thurston about him installing a concrete block for the monument. John, is that the monument that you said was going to be a surprise for us later that you were working on DAR with?
I don't recall saying it was a surprise. I said we were in the initial stages. I had met with them, and we were in the initial stages. You can also see that Christine Collins recommended that I work with them because I did the plaque for Kirk Titus.
Yeah, so that's the one that we approved in 2025.
I wasn't part of that.
Okay. I just wanted to see that everybody saw that we're going to get a plaque put up there. And
we don't have a spot yet.
Yeah,
we haven't.
Yeah, the board's going to decide, and we're going to have to decide whether or not we take down that tree that is diseased and in fair shape, I think is what Bartlett Tree said.
All right, is there any other old business?
So I just want to say one thing about old business. I received an email on the town's website, and this is kind of important for the folks out there. I received an email, and when you go to the town's website and you want to reach a select board member, you hit on, I'd like to contact this person. And this person thought that they were writing a confidential email to me, and it said, I'd like to contact John Thurston. But when the email had come out, across the top it said to Linda Murray, Dave Senical, John Thurston, Paul O'Brien, Brian DeShays. And when the email said I'd like to contact John Thurston, one of our board members decided he would contact that person. And so if you are out there and you want to contact a board member, just know that your email contact isn't going to the person that you contact. It's going to the person you contact, but all the other people are getting that email also. So if you want to have a confidential discussion with somebody, be prepared that you're actually sharing it with everybody else.
On the town website, I have my personal email address, my town email address, and my phone number. So if people want to contact me directly, they have all of my information to contact me directly.
And I'm the same.
So with that said, if somebody is on this board, I know that these people have gotten other emails, and I've respected that email contact to that person. It was kind of surprising that when the email said it was to me, that one of the other members went out and reached out to this person that sent the email under their own purview.
Okay, is there any other business? Town manager's report.
I just need guidance from the board as to what you would like to do relative to a voter's guide. I believe last year we ran a sample ballot. We got some guidance from the municipal association that is probably what we should be doing. I just want to check with the board. Is that what you want to do, or do you want to do something different?
I think it's worked. I see people with them all the time when they come into the
Yeah, I have no problem. It's just, as long as we're going to have copies around town. We're not, I mean, the paper, I think less and less people even get the paper because of its size, and now we don't even have Alyssa. You know, if we're talking about having it in the paper and then having a bunch around town, then I'm okay with it. But if we're just going to put it in the paper, I'm not.
Would the board be okay if I was able to search out and see what a bulk mailing for the residents of Wolfeboro would cost?
Sure.
I'll do that and see if we can do that. That may be a good option to get everybody in tune with it.
And when you say bulk mailing, Jimmy, excuse me, Jim, you'd include the business community.
Yeah.
Okay, so all hands on deck.
Yep.
I agree with Linda. We just got to get it around town.
Short of that, as I alluded to, I'll be going on vacation. We are closed the 16th for President's Day. Steve Randall will be sitting in here for me on, I believe it's the 18th is the next meeting. And I just would like to thank everybody for coming out and participating in the deliberative session last night. It was a late night, as is tonight, but I think it got a lot of stuff accomplished in a cordial manner, so thank you.
Okay, committee reports. Brian, I'll start with you.
We had a wonderful little deliberative session. It lasted a couple of hours. I loved the New Hampshire Municipal Association budget presentation at the library. That was a great event, very informative. And I believe that's the only two that I had in the last week.
We had budget committee meeting.
Oh, we had one budget committee meeting also.
Paul?
I did everything he did. Yeah, I also agree. The presentation by the Municipal Association on budgeting was good. The best part about it is they were able to grab pieces of our proposed budget and actually reference them against, my words, best practices. It was actually it's pretty good. Yes, we had a deliberative session last night, and I spoke to it earlier. And I've had a couple of sessions with the police department. And I spent some time just on the phone today with Tom Zotti. I think there was a fair comment made last evening. Unfortunately, it's processed stuff. But, you got these 4 warrant articles all around the ambulance service, and how do you stitch all that stuff together and make it look cohesive? So Tom was thinking deeply over his coffee cup this morning how we can get out there and communicate a little better. Not better, but just communicate on this. That's all I had.
I met with the Chamber Executive Board. They wanted to go over warrant articles with me. I had a meeting with last night Wolfeboro, where we reviewed what happened in 2025 and are starting to talk about 2026. And at the next meeting, there will be a public hearing with a list of people who donated I attended the Municipal Budget Playbook, which was a nice name for it. I thought it was well done. And I had a Friends of Pop meeting, and we talked about the Zamboni, which we talked a large amount of time on at that meeting, but also want to say that the Bruins alumni game is this Saturday at 4 o'clock, and there's still tickets, so come on out.
Come on out. And there'll be a Zamboni cleaning up the ice.
The only thing I have was a meeting last night, deliberative session. That's all I have.
So I can second that, and it was a pretty good turnout last night. I was surprised that there weren't more people, but from what I heard, the YouTube channel had 300 viewers on it, so that was a good showing. And by this morning, it had been viewed 562 times. So there are people out there watching us, and come to the polls, make your voices known.
Hey, Jim, any questions from the press?
Nobody's on, Dave.
Okay. Any public input before we go into non-public? Yes.
Whoops.
Oh, you broke it, now you gotta buy it.
Person, I got a quick comment on the Zamboni. I'm wondering, the propane-powered one obviously is being repaired and used for the rest of the season. It isn't?
No.
No,
What-
a loaner's
We're getting
coming
a
in.
loaner.
We're renting one.
Oh, okay.
It's
This
done.
thing-
Pick it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that
That
takes
answers
care
it.
of my comment. I didn't want to see the Zamboni go away. You know, hopefully they can raise the money on their own for the electric. I'd like to see the electric, but I hope it doesn't turn into one of these. We've had quite a few debacles with the pop over the years, and I hope it can just stay to where they can raise the money and pay for the Zamboni. I don't want to see it turn into the Friends of Zamboni, joint partnership or something. So I wish them all the good luck.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Bobby Bedman. Is it friendsofpop.org?
It's a Friend of Pop Whalen. I don't know if it's not .org. No.
You sure? Okay, anyway,
don't know.
if you go on, they have a donation button already. Just make sure you earmark it for Zamboni.
I saw that.
Is it?
It's
could be-
popwhalen.org.
Okay,
popwhalen.org.
Popwhalen.org.
okay. I didn't think that was.
Okay. I actually came tonight to thank all of our hardworking staff who stayed up there all evening. I bet they were a little warmer up there, though, than we were down here. Was it warm up there? Because that was amazing. 1:30, is that our longest one? Or
No.
I feel like we had a really long one, like in 2009 or 2010, that went on for like 7 hours. That was before the art center was built, right? Do you remember that one? It just was like all day long. That was my other thing. And then the Zamboni, and I had one more, and I am tired. I think we're all tired, so thanks. Just make sure, donate.
And I could be wrong, but I think that the thermostats are on timers or special programming, so they turn the heat off
At 9 o'clock.
at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, but we did ask them to turn them back on.
Well, that's a recycling system that recycles the air in the building.
It's the ERV.
It just hit me, my other thing.
Ventilator.
Can we please do this deliberative a different way? I mean, I know you guys did talk about it, but don't drop it, because 1:30 in the morning
On the
isn't.
list. We'll put it on the list.
Yeah, let's
Put it on the list.
let's plan it though accordingly.
Put it on the list.
Let's plan accordingly.
Okay.
So moved.
I'm going to make a motion that we go into non-public.
Oh, not public.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Wait a second,
Thank you.
what are we going on? A?
A?
Because I got to do it for the minutes.
Under non-public A.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you're the only one that does minutes.